Chabegajebe. Ye fenye ana wala da wasa obakpe ye bie ko o fa na ye ishiba mi jani femo kinyamoko ni le kinyamoko ball boni wo fiole animale ake obashebie ko bashebie no announcement o presence ni mama ke register ake oba trashi ye okay, let's see. Nyam once again, producer send me local. Nyama check ya real quick. Then you watch channel. Then no connect on my face. Oh, Nagona. Boy, work be not done. No way you. Oh no. Shout outs to you. Nuumo Idris. Again, Nuumo kind of first all the way. If you like it or not, the law is the law. Surely, before I knew about judgment. If you're me again, video any me condemn because Benyeli it taught me after sitting and reading for 4 hours. I was tired. I want to play that video for you. It's 6 minutes long. And I'm going to condemn again what I saw. Ni mofemo, ni igmegbe, ni nakai nokote, no. That person should bow their head in shame. Look, Kusumi ni fi ogbomo. Kusumi no fi ogbomo. Esa ni woyano. Ni wofiti yo Kusumi. I don't care what party you belong to. Yaji Nuumo Okai ni ame wini neke no kone. Ame fe no na fe ma tabie di ma condemn ame na kai no. We need to fix some of these things. It's becoming one too many. It's like what you way ake work no fair no bashe ni nakaino ebe ingbe no. You understand what I'm saying? Nakaino ebe ingbe no. Bona look if you are that nake to mo beni Bible eke we no fair no egbe shije no fair no nisa oya egbe no fear no fair no fear. She get lumojibo titri get lumojibo it's an obio yake and no fear it's ake ofelu. You understand what I'm saying? You need to ask yourself, ake me lumojimi in your ear na fear kusumi and noni afe ne esa ake afelu eke kusumi pan belo. Like I said, I'm bringing it again because look, in my lifetime, inako ni afe ne kendo kudan. You understand what I'm saying? It's not right. Shout out to you at Kangpa. Ufane boy ojuba. It is not right. Let me play the full video for you. Atago impa ufane to yote. Ke afangma, ge ne kan afangma. Now watch. A crowd of young boys. A crowd of young boys. I mean, come on, or young men.
Like I tell you, I can't agree. Oh, no, just share for me. Oh, no, look what got you to fame yesterday. Got you to fame. No one take for anything. Let's show me. No,
yela money yela komuna atebwa ele atebwa ite simini sanene la bi ane wan ye tile wo bi ane wan ye tile wo no mokonya lo mokoyi don
Fame on this sanction, that person should bar his or her head in shame. Nye fite kusumi. Nye fite kusumi. Ni na hime ni ta flache inche obobi tupenfoi. Kenye akwele tupenfoi. Ni they should know better. Engaging in this sacrilege. This is sacrilege. This is sacrilege. I don't know if you guys heard what I just heard. There is somebody in the background. I'm sure the person in a judgment no, I don't know if you guys heard it. You see, that is why matabie, and I don't like. Look, when I read sitting down for a time, weak, but I am not gonna stop it. As long as I have breath, anytime matabie, I don't care how long it's gonna take me. I don't care how ni can teshie why I will do it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care. Because clearly these people, I mean nakomoko ba wane. Ni abacha ma tashi. Na kama ke. Sani na ye. Nekeke kan yue. Nekeke kan ke. Mo na chole pakpo. No ni ayue ko to emi na chole pakpo ni. So I don't know. You find me na ke if it a freezy and you get me very many maybe near so Jane near no as many inquire but if I'm get area me what line say maybe use word so any a lot of you understand what I'm saying? Yes, so many internet yes a buffer word I can tell me na ye be came bona so fine you get me hopefully as the show goes on, it will pick up if better. Bona, yes. I can tell I get a buffer word. So you can me. Yes, the whistle can you say a little bit. Nyani ma ya say. Ofane say bibio. So mini headphones say yeah into me minu. I don't know about you, but pay more attention. Obana ke mokombolo say like very faint. So watch it again. Right here. I don't know if you guys right here. Let me go back again. No butui. So chameka nyame ene nini wona musubo ni wona nle mokokla ni kusunche ni ebaka ke noni wona ne ejini nkpakpa. Look, ke ayafangma anyai, ke ayafangma anyai, because it is victory. Mo fe mo ko duniye ni o harvester o min shoyi. So ma fa nyamo beni But what we saw is not nyamobe ni ekog mafahi. This is abominable. You understand what I'm saying? And it is not right. I hope this does not continue to happen. Ene jeni pakpani. Now, yeah, Ishibamli. Oba jeni nge tejeke so kengbe na magbele pa ni mo femo. Ni shout outs to you. Ni teko aibunte ufane be uyojugba. Thank you. The whistle poke ma fanko etanko. So there shouldn't be that much noise. Exactly. Yeah, the joy should be measured. I agree. And that is why they name musubo nini. Ene kusum fite money. It's not right. Because many lenche me kumewe afangma. I agree. Yeah, Ishibami. Chemeka nyeme. Min panyefai. What donation say? From B olo kaya victim say omanjo. Me ni atla me tun ni agbeame won bua shikana ni wokwa pia me say ame chofan come me many ame survivor many me wuni ame wale ngme ame here won bomoden ake obata no go fio here ame weku me lo ona so min kpabu faiwa kaje last weekend wo bo enfe mu won fe an kata oni ba ne ye ishibamli ke okuleji ta otwiye ni obanyo ke wono ku fio e ba wa de enche ye ishibamli so bomoden koni okay o contribution aba bona now nya waboti ami tamo bening bakebwe nye no ni nkane habwe. It was based on that judgment ni Nuumo Okai na ni kabatabia ne Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ye shiam yolo ni Nuumo Okai me ya file wolo koni kotu afan ni aje Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ye shiami koni atashi ni echue ni ake Korle Wulomo because court we ale 2011 no na ni nkan ni abu eton ake leji Korle Wulomo ni achongbe papa no ni ake tole no fe no ne sana fe ke me ni yo iwale ni nakai me ba to nakai me no ni ameto ni. You know what's interesting, ona nye document ni nkan ni abu ona ja se che ni yo mi ne ka agbache ame support Nuumo Okai olage ja se che efwe ne ya support Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah. So 2011 judgment ja se che ne efita agbache ke wekume conclume ni ana judgment in favor of Nuumo Okai le no efwe ne ya fita Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You see the people that we are dealing with. And they continue to claim, okay, Nuumo Okai is from Simpe, yet they've not been I'm still waiting. Nuumo Okai e papa eni eje Korle still wojeni kan yo fe approve ko fe be papo no part no amedomo. They should be able to prove ake le Nuumo Okai e papa denche je sempe e papa ni je sempe ne kan chole shia ne je sempe mi ne eche ne fo eniye e je sempe shia mi ne je sempe ne ke onye ko fe na kan ni pe na chomo pako pe no dumono. Then I don't know. It is really difficult for me sitting here. You understand what I'm saying? It is really difficult for me sitting here to just base on the bear. Nyoba kake bear wo mo je simpi. Inke ya example. Inke nje pon. Awulawe awo na chiche ejeme. Ima otublo ungbe na chiche nke wonbi yo ne wonbi le eje pondon eje awulawe don kayi omanye ya awulawe na she woku eno na bawo imbi na chiche because inwole otublo ungbe ne wo enye ya awulawe manye don. That is that no you don't tower man no shishie keji oke mo achole kpakpo na eje sempe sa na onye no cho ake echechene ni echeche sempe shiami na ejene echechele nwe echeni fole ne le un shiami na eje sempe ne. It is so easy to do. It is so easy. Wagan wafe wagbe home address ni. Alo jenake home address gan ka chogbe no ale no je. So wabanyi wachon keji sempe me wo anan lele prove it. Ake sempe shian na eje. Eche shian na fole ye. Eni kanswa sempe na meje shian na poten mi ameje. And bring other stuff to show ake leleng eni eje ne keshian. Ba keji o kok pakpo ekbe ile me pi na magbe ke wa me pi wo fi oda. This is not new. Ye wa gama thing. Waka wana magbe wo bi, wani magbe wo bi. It is common. So I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out. Apart from be, so far be pe jino nina aka chole pakpo. Be pe. See, nili ake anyo magbe awomo. That is not enough for me. Ninu ewo court to a hey awo mi. Me iya go law school. I'm not a lawyer. All that I did is media law and ethics, a journalism school. That's all. J lawyer Jimmy. Itako law school to me down. She me bomofo jie po mi bomofo lo ne ni mi po yako law school ni J lawyer Jimmy. Media law and ethics law BBO koning kase wa media law and ethics no polenche ke ajamin 20 achon wo 1 out of 20 onim shishi achon wo 1 out of 20 po I can tell ake the case more. That is why they weren't able to prove their case in 2011. It is the same reason they were need fast forward kabatabiane. They've not been able to prove that case ake sempe doni. Amagbe abuomo. Afe ni akpa afe mo. Ona so esani amenya ame prove keji leleng ake je sempe na esane yo Korle we ni you prove there follow is not enough. It is there follow na chole pakpo it's not enough. So prove it. Nye bua nye evidence na kenya ya pile nye bua fe na nye tawa eni shishi money for any nye prove ni kotu ana ni wo fe wana. But until then look nye fe ku ninke Nuumo Okai achole eduna taflache ketoye. What they did to that young man, it's not right. Oblanum feel. In be pictures and I can send it because ni kechombo. Because I chole pakpo. Ni aya mi na ba kwa ke pakpo enme pakpo eje. Kage picture say hami enga ba chombo ni onna plamo na plale. It is not right. And when I see people following and accepting this injustice and acting nonsensical, I feel like it's sad. Yeah, wabuti. Enough of my sermon. Right, so to my bedding Kenya, menele I can tell I get in feed a buffer wa nyegekiami. Oh no, I think I get it's a lot of load your network. No, so there you have it. There we go. Bona. So nyani waboti ami ni wajanjo fine keni femo kiamoko ni lenwe kiamoko ona boni ni yo because keji wo fe na kan wonye me ko me ame ba fe no ko na me ka me ba wo ha umomi you know ba na amomoko akele te jail ne sana akele ya jail oni chichi because ele anukwale ele no ni court to eke ene no oji achole papo no na achole papo agency mpe na ba eju Korle we bia ne that is not right, that is not true. Let's go. In the Superior Court of Judicature, in the High Court of Justice, Human Rights Division, one held in Accra on Friday, the 22nd day of May 2026, before a leadership, Justice Barbara Tetechawe, Justice of the High Court. So you can tell, anytime no bana judgment, afino ni case ke una sued no ma. The year is always the last no. So you can tell from here it is 2016 ni abo insanene yeli anytime no bana judgment obana year noji noni ona ye na agbe. So suit number GJ/1233/2016 2016. Nuumo Okai and ni adekwe ameji plaintiff say Nuumo Okai wofen woli ni adekwe eleji agbache ni efita jase che kecheme ni atole Nuumo Okai ni kesanene te 2016 because 2011 ne eye keje 2011 ne eye agnele gbe ne ba ya shia ni e ba tun eni. You understand what I'm saying? So noji noni ame fe kome ni ame ke case te now name ake case te ashi Nicholas Adu Ayite substituted by ni ayi kwe Nicholas Adu Ayite leji jaseche ni efita agbache ni adekwe ni ato Nuumo Okai biane afita Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah number 2 eji ayi Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah leji ni ayi. So cheme enyone kesani ete eshi cheme enyone miniji Nuumo Okai sani ni ekete nyani wabote ami. Judgment. Plaintiff's case. Nichwage Nuumo Okai ke agbache saneni amekete ne. Number 1, the plaintiff's case is that the first plaintiff, Nuumo Okai the first, is the Korle Wulomo and head of the Korle family of Accra, whilst the second plaintiff is the agbache of Korle family, i.e. the principal member of the Korle family, who plays an indispensable role in the installation and removal of a Korle Wulomo. According to plaintiffs, the first defendant is the Judgement of Korle, while second defendant is an imposter who parades as Korle Wulomo. Now, me you know kan ya boy. Amesani na mekeba ni agna awo jiake ebe Nuumo Okai leji monike sani eba leji mokenkle ni eyomi me yenyo ni kesani ete Nuumo Okai ji mokenkle moniji enyo no ji agbache ame yenyo ni amekesani ete Nuumo Okai ke le eji Korle Wulomo ni monifite ye leji agbache ni efita onupai ni ato Korle Wulomo ni enuchumo na echuo is indispensable ni chwanke ke ato Korle Wulomo le agbache anya shile ye Korle Wulomo tomi enuchumo na echuo eyan wa de nche ke ato Korle Wulomo la agbache anya shile na ato Korle Wulomo enuchumo eyan wa de nche le no ka ba fan Korle Wulomo nwe enuchumo eyan wa de nche. Nuumo Okai, according to plaintiffs, the first defendant is the Judgement of Korle, while second defendant is an imposter who parades as Korle Wulomo. Nuumo Okai te no ne ka ke me ni ekesani e be hie me enyo ne ekesani e be hie mo kenkle ni yo mi le Judgement mo enyo ni yo mi le weji obla nunko ni enye ni eche Korle Wulomo bona na kanjibo ni Nuumo Okai yuemo ke ye bie. Number 2, plaintiff's further case is that sometime in May 2002, the principal members and high priestess of Korle, led by the second plaintiff, installed the first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo and head of Korle. Nuumo Okai te no ne yuake ye afi akpei enyo ke enyo beamini ehoe cheme ni yo Korle ke wo yo onupa ni yo Korle we ame fe kome ni ame tole Nuumo Okai ame tole Korle Wulomo ke Korle Wulomo fe icho. Subsequent to the said installation, one Ayi Anan and 5 others brought an action against the first plaintiffs, the first defendant herein, and 3 others challenging the propriety of the installation of first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo. Eke biamini atole atan semie wachekona chola yanang keme enumo ameke sanete eshile le Nuumo Okai ke agbache ni fite biane ke jase che ni biane le we ke sane be shile mefe ke sane ba eshiame ake benona chon ni ake to le Nuumo Okai eja jase che biamini na kan kese ni kande habu no le na gbe na 2011 no me jase che fita Nuumo Okai biane fita Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah. After a full trial, the High Court, Quorum Amisa Kunsi J, on 4th November 2011, held that the first plaintiff had been properly installed as Korle Wulomo and head of Korle family. Biamini, ayesani efe na boteno fe no mina ayesani ata in 2011 no julo ni kan ya bonye. Judge na chole Amisa Kunsi. Neke judge ne ebua sani yake lelen Nuumo Okai achok bekpakpa no ni atole ake Korle Wulomo ni leji Korle we fe yicho jeje he abomi na kan to monye boni nkane ahabwe mine ko Nuumo Okai ke. Plaintiffs claim that in July 2016 the first defendant, in a bid to remove the first plaintiff from office, unilaterally sent thugs to the residence of the first plaintiff. Nuumo Okai te no ne wiake in July of 2016, Niji afi akpenyo kenyuma ke pa afi niji akpenyo kenyuma ke pa July man say gan yen pa no neke jase chene ni akesane ebe ehie efe yi ake erafa Nuumo Okai keledi enche yewale no ewo eyawo basabasa feloi basaba meni me fio basabasa thugs ni ameba le Nuumo Okai ehia. These thugs allegedly ransacked first plaintiff's residence, looted items belonging to first plaintiff, and inflicted wounds on him. Nege basabasa felo ene jase cheke ba amebote le Nuumo Okai eshiami be won we Korle we ya Korle Wulomo Korle we ji ene hion ni amefite ni bi amekumokumo ni bi amedwadwa ni bi ni le Nuumo Okai de enche we ameplale. According to plaintiffs, following this violent incident, first defendant purported to install second defendant as Korle Wulomo without the consent of the principal members of the Korle family and the Korle priestess. Eke yene se neke jase chene ni lelenche teshi ni eto Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah neke Korle we onupai susunwe Korle wayo onupanwe lewu ekele susunwe lelenche eko wale ni eketo ame yani wachano. Number 4, plaintiffs maintain that it is uncustomary to remove a Wulomo from office and that a Wulomo is suspended for shown cause. Wacha Nuumo Okai ke agbache ni fite amegemini ye gankusum mie akpa Wulomo Shimon achiola akpasashi nika ba achi Wulomo akpasashi nwe esani ocho ake Wulomo efe noko ni nuewo ni ochiola akpasashi onyo teshikeke no ni obachi Wulomo akpasashi akpa Wulomo shi anyo achiole akpasashi akola ake o tabi efio ni ke obasumo ne taje me unfu ewe. It must be for shown cause. It is no chon ake leleng etomla efe noko ne sa ni efio nuewo ni oba okeleba akpasashi. Plaintiffs further allege that no rightful customary procedure was followed in the purported removal of first plaintiff by first defendant, for which reason the said act was uncustomary, wrongful, and unlawful. So, ameteno Nuumo Okai agbacha ameteno na meyuake keji ake akpa Nuumo Okai alo akele pasashie ayakusum gbeno ni achon ni nakaino afio shile Nuumo Okai kaga akele pasachinjo akpalenjo na kan kusum be no na chon na ke chon na kan no me ni ka me pale ne alo amekele passager na kan me ame fe na kan no ani me fe na kan no ya ma me susu mo mie hie na ka kele pasa alo pa mo na pale eje mlagbe no ni eje kusum gbe no na wacha no again plaintiff seek the following reliefs Nuumo Okai ka agbache noni ametawo ni kotu afe ha me ne amesane na amekeba no jino ni nkan ya bo ni bia na amekeba wa me bi kotu afe ne kenoko ne ha me nya wa ya no 1 a declaration that the first plaintiff is the Korle Wulomo and head of the Korle family or head of Korle we amesmoni kotu awe ake le Nuumo Okai le ji Korle Wulomo ni noewo le no ji Korle we fe icho no ni jenyo a declaration that the purported removal of the first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo by the first defendant is null and void and of no legal effect. No ni jenyo. Keje no. Ni ewe alo efa alo emanomia ke lelele ji Korle Wulomo. Jeje ayano nesa efele fan ake nakan fani aka afale nakan no eje mlami na ke fale. No nakan no anya ye no. Nakan no enye hodu. Nakan no enye hodu anya ye no. Yeah, wayano. Noni jete. A declaration that the purported installation of the second defendant as Korle Wulomo by the first defendant is null and void. Noni jete. Jeje ayano. Ni eyuake. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah to na toe. Nakaino eje jaleni. Ni eja. Echo kusum no. Echo mlano. Nuewa ekusumie to na tole. Jeje akake nakaino afomi. Na nya ketuni. Noni jeje. An order of perpetual injunction restraining the second defendant from acting or purporting to act as Korle Wulomo. Jeje ayano ni eke gbechini ni na bebe it should be perpetual. Eke gbechini ni na bebe ane Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah no akele eka che Korle Wulomo don ni eka yano ni efe ni ake Korle Wulomo. No ni jenumo. An order ejecting the second defendant from the Korle shrine. Jeje wu afa boni ofeni Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah Korle we shiami efale egame ni Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah eshi Korle we shiami. Now Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke jaseche ameu miniji na jiemo ni amekeba yeneke sanenemi yani wakwa na jiemo ni ameu amekeba. While denying the plaintiff's claim in its entirety, the defendants contend that the first defendant has the right by custom and tradition to install and remove the Korle Wulomo from office. Ake Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke jase chene amegeni bi efeni Nuumo Okai ke agbache yue na kan no fe ebemi. They denied it completely. Na ameke le jase che eya egbe ni eto Korle Wulomo ni efa Korle Wulomo. According to defendants, the second defendant was duly installed as Korle Wulomo by the priestesses and heads of the various quarters of Gamashi and is therefore not an imposter as alleged by the plaintiffs. Amegemini, Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah, atole ojogbang, waye, ke wahi, ke onukpai, ni yogan, akuche fe kome, ni atole ojogbang, ake Wulomo. Nuumo Okai ka agbache, amenya ameka ake je Wulomo papani ni le efe Wulomo. Defendants' further case is that the first plaintiff is not qualified to be a Korle Wulomo because he does not hail from the Korle family, but rather comes from the Sempe clan. Nege na jielo ine ni jase cheke Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ameteno na meyuake le Nuumo Okai ebe ni eyo Korle Wulomo ejake eje Sempe no ane eje Sempe ebe ni eyo Korle we ni. According to the defendants, the first plaintiff was summoned by the elders on 3 occasions but failed to show up. Ameke le Nuumo Okai be ko she ni chame fole shieteson akeba ni akalana sanigba eba. The defendants therefore assert that the plaintiffs are not entitled to the reliefs they seek. Nuewo nibi ni Nuumo Okai ke agbache ameke ba court to here ake court to afe ha me esa ni court to fe fio kla e ha me now no jeje ebo menetwe mo fe me ba together me ji no ni agree aba kwami yesane na ke buy ne issues for trial ni bi na aba kwami yesane yeli na ine. At the close of pleadings, the issues below were set down for trial. So ni mo fe mene yue no ni bi ni abalake bagbene energy no ni wo ba ye yesane ni wo ba ye me. No ni can claim whether or not the first plaintiff was properly installed as Korle Wulomo and remain so. Ni bi ni judge ke wo ba kwe mo fe mo agree mene ke no eba mbo menetwe lawyer mene yue ke wo ke sajini wo ba kwe ni wo ye ne. Now ken claim no na ba kwe eji ake ani lela ke Nuumo Okai atole Korle Wulomo ni ke bata bia ne ya no ni ye Korle Wulomo lo no ni jienyo. Whether or not the fact that the first plaintiff was properly installed as Korle Wulomo was confirmed by the judgment of the High Court dated 4th November 2011. And yagbede wabaya no ake keji lele ake atole ojogbang Korle Wulomo and the judgment there 2011 judgment there emanomi ake lele ake Nuumo Okai atole Korle Wulomo lo judgment there ni nkani abwe noni jete whether or not the procedure requisite for the customary installation of a Korle Wulomo were testified to by the defendants in the case entitled Ni Ayi Anan and others versus Egbert Tetefio Anan and others, suit number MISC 1006/2002. Agbenewe keji naka neke court ne manomi ake lela ake Nuumo Okai ni atolo jogba ya kusumi ke no fe no mi ani biami na ye naka nsanie meni ake sanie be hie ani amechon gbeno ni ake gbeno ke kusuno ni achon na ke to Korle Wulomo lo ani na ken judgment there me ni ake sane be hie ani ame lay out gbeno na achon ke kusumi no na achon na ke to Korle Wulomo lo. D. Whether or not the High Court in suit number MIS 1006/2002 found the established procedure for the installation of Korle Wulomo as testified to by the defendants as the rightful procedure under custom. Agbenenwe nekegbe na ke sane ba ehia in 2002 na ye in 2011 keji lela ke amecho gbenu ke kusumi na cho no na ke to Korle Wulomo ani court we he awomi lo ni court we yose ake lela ake amecho nekegbe na lo. E. Whether or not the first plaintiff has been removed from office as Korle Wulomo in accordance with the rightful customary procedure for the removal of a Wulomo. Ni agbenenwe abakwewu na kwake ani lela ke Nuumo Okai akpale Korle Wulomo lo ni keji akpale Korle Wulomo ani kusumi na achono na kepa Korle Wulomo achona ken kusumi eno ni akepale lo. F. Whether or not under gang custom a Wulomo can be removed from office. Agbenenwe wabaya no ni wakwake ani ye gang kusumi akpa Wulomo hun lo. G. Whether or not the second defendant as Agbache is an indispensable person in the installation of a Korle Wulomo. Agbenenwe wabaya no ni wakwake ani keje bale Korle Wulomo to mie neke Agbache ne ani anye ashile ka fe kusumi elo ani esani enyan mi important dania to Korle Wulomo lo akwa ne ka Agbache position ne aga ne ka Agbache be mi anya to Korle Wulomo lo. H. Whether or not second defendant has the sole prerogative to remove a Wulomo. Agbena oba no ni wakwake ani second defendant ne le eya wale ni le kometo ebanye fan Wulomo lo ni jase chene. I think actually should be the first defendant because jase che first ni Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah this second. I. Whether or not the first plaintiff is qualified through blood lineage to be appointed as Korle Wulomo. Agbenenwe waya no ni wakwe ake ani lela ake Nuumo Okai latokpa mi ne sani aje na ye Korle Wulomo ani ejana kan latokpa mi lo. J. Whether or not the first plaintiff hails from Sempe. Agbenenwe abasumo ni akwake anilela ke Nuumo Okai eje sempelo ga tete ketete nye ba boatwe ga tete ketete nye ba boatwe nye ani amale nyechon ni alaka nyechon nye ba boatwe jani femo kiamoko ni lenwe kiamoko nya wa ya K. Whether or not the purported appointment of the first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo is a nullity. Agbenewe akwake ani toa na ka to Nuumo Okai ani no esa na ke tuoni nkulalo esa na fomi nkulalo. I. Whether or not there is any judicial decision of the High Court confirming the nomination and appointment of the first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo. Agbenewe esa ni wakwake ani court no kokula eje court eje High Court we neba ni echono kwake lela ke ato Nuumo Okai ake Korle Wulomo. Plaintiff's evidence. Now, Nuumo Okai ka agbache nibi ni amekeba ni amekempia amesanie na amekeba me court we hie nibi na amekeba ni amekempia amesanie na amekeba me court we hie nibi na amekeba ne. The first plaintiff in his witness statement claimed that he is a lawyer from Onomrako Korle family and that he was properly installed as Korle Wulomo by the principal members and high priestess of Korle in May 2002. Nuumo Okai le eje Onomrako Korle wekuemi ni atole ojogbang by onukpai ni yo Korle ke wonche onukpa ni yo Korle ame ni ame tole ye afi akpei enyo ke enyomi. He stated that he performed all customs associated with his office until July 2016 when he was unlawfully removed from office by the first defendant. Eke kege afi akpei enyo ke enyomi ni atole echu enuchumo efe kusumi no fe no na sane echu ake Korle Wulomo ete no na echu na ke ni kata afi akpe enyo ke nyuma ke pa mi ni neke jase chene ke memba na meba fale ye Korle. He further claimed that after his installation as Korle Wulomo, one Ayi Anan and 5 others brought a suit against him, the first defendant and others, challenging the propriety of the installation of Korle Wulomo. Eke biamina tolenwe mokona chole Ayi Anan kemei enumoko ameke saneba eshile le Nuumo Okai kele jase chene ni mene jase chene ne shie se ne ameke saneba shiame ake benoni amechon ni aketo Nuumo Okai. He claimed that the said action was dismissed as evidence by a judgment which was received in evidence as Exhibit A, and he continued to function as the Korle Wulomo. Eka no say me, mind you, na can judgment 2011. Eka mind you, eka no say me, no make ba eshiwo awachafo Nintendo ni minchu ni chimolo. He claimed that he had never been summoned before any elders and that his grandfather Judge Okai was once a school secretary, and after his death, his uncle Ni Adu Anan succeeded him. Eke na le keji cheme kome kakeshi amechele shiete ake eba nakeno amemale mogomoko ifrongo ni nechakole akeshi eba ni le enin acho enin George Okai enie be kone we leji wolo malo ke Korle webi ni enie gboe le echekwe ni Adu Anan. He maintained that his legitimacy to occupy the position of Korle Wulomo has never been in doubt, and that first defendant had no unilateral right to install or remove him from office. Ni nekeja se chene ni first defender ne eba wale ni le kometo eba to Wulomo alo eba je Wulomo ko ye Korle we. He attached Exhibit B series, which were photographs showing the bruises he sustained when he was allegedly attacked by agents of first defendant. Le Nuumo Okai ne US and ne fe e kan foni ni chon biami ni abayile na plale e ke fe fitai e ha kote. Number 10, the second plaintiff. So agbache ni fita Nuumo Okai here leun written statement ni ekebane. The second plaintiff gave a witness statement in which he stated that it was the agbache of Korle. He further claimed that sometime in May 2002, together with the principal elders and high priestesses of Korle, they nominated, elected, and performed customary rites to install first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo. Eke tumobeno liye ya fi akpe enyo kenyo biamie le ke onukpa ni yo Korle we ke wo yo onukpa ni yo Korle we ame kame ni ne fon Nuumo Okai no ni ame chukusu mi fe ni esane ame chuale ni ame tole ni ame wole Korle Wulomo. Subsequent to the said installation, some aggrieved members of the family brought an action against him and first defendant challenging the propriety of the said installation of first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo. No say me komeni neketo na to Nuumo Okai ne amenu shishie ameke sani ete kotu eshile ke Nuumo Okai ake ani Nuumo Okai to na to le achokbe papa no ni ake to le lo. He claimed that the court upheld the procedure by which the first plaintiff was installed as proper in a judgment delivered in 2011, after which first plaintiff continued to function as Korle Wulomo until 2016, when some hoodlums, under the directions of first defendant, attacked and vandalized first plaintiff's property at Korle and physically assaulted him. In 2011, Nuumo Okai etenone chueni au kata afi akpe yenyo kenyuma kekpa ni basa frelo ekomeba ni ameba Korle na ameba fite ni bi yedeme na meji Nuumo Okai na me plale. He maintained that by custom a Wulomo could only be suspended but not removed from office. Nega bachane eteno ne yuake ya kusumie Wulomo le achiole ke ka pasashi shimon anya fangulomo. He claimed that first plaintiff's late grandfather Nuumo Adu hailed from Korle and was Korle Wulomo until his death. A great grandfather. So he claimed that first plaintiff's late great grandfather Nuumo Adu hailed from Korle and was Korle Wulomo until his death. You see why these people have not been able to prove it. Le Nuumo Okai agbache etenone yuake Nuumo Okai enini kanswa ni achole Nuumo Adu eye Korle Wulomo na ye Korle Wulomo a ukata biami na efemini na egbo. Benye na ebie Jemi nkei amakane jemekun. He claimed that Agbacheni you first plaintiff's late great grandfather Nuumo Adu hailed from Korle and was Korle Wulomo until his death. Agbache ke Nuumo Okai enini kanswa ni achole Nuumo Adu eje Korle ne ye Korle Wulomo unkata biami na egbo. So that is why I keep asking. You cannot just use the name Papo. No, you need to prove. No, keji mo enim papa. Le Nuumo Okai keji enim papa eye Korle Wulomo da. I don't know. Ni chwage be kena kani be abon juwe che. Be ni chwage sempe me ba Korle we say enini kanswa inoton. Is that what you guys are saying? Anyways, nya wachano. He claimed that the issue of first plaintiff's qualification to be made Korle Wulomo was determined in suit number MISC 1006/2002. He also denied defendants' claim that he had relinquished his position as Agbache by taking on a chieftaincy position. Meaning, neki juemo ake ani esa ake Nuumo Okai eye Wulomo lo alo enye yo Korle Wulomo lo nakai no court we decide yomo ye nakai 2002 case any judgment go 2011 court we decide omo agbene we many amekesani e be hie keji ameka akeshi because eye manche e wo e Agbache position enme here nakai no amemale enme ko e Agbache position Number 11. A witness statement was filed on behalf of plaintiffs by one Nuumo Kankam wacheko ni le wa chole Nuumo Kankam ni jimini akwasa Wulomo nyefane inle mingli ake minchelo duba akwasa Wulomo le won egmawolo kefi Nuumo Okai ke Agbache nese Nuumo Kankam Niji Akwasa Wulomo Lenwe Mawolo Kefiamese. He claimed that in his capacity as Wulomo, he had worked hand in hand with first plaintiff. Egele Ake Wulomo, Ege Nuumo Okai Echunin Dang Ake Wulomo. He also testified that by custom, a Wulomo could not be removed from office, but rather suspended and later allowed to perform his functions after showing rumors. Egele Ake Wulomo, Eliake Yakusumie, Wulomo Akpale. Shimon ake Wulomo pasashi nikeje Wulomo die se cheme na ake edie se ye no ni ameke fe wo na akele pasashi amengo legbe keke eba cha enuchumo no ake Wulomo. He maintained that the first plaintiff had been validly installed as Wulomo and that the purported removal and subsequent installation of second defendant as Wulomo was a sham. Again, Nuumo Okai atolojogba no akeji aka akpale ni abato Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah nagano na Jane Pakpani is a sham. Kenke sham bagami ebajang. So what more nakai? Defendant's evidence. Now, just ke Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ameo nibi na amenye ake nomi ma nibi ni ebafi amesani ese alo ebapia amesani ese nojino ni makane maabone no ni nkane kenklen agbache ke Nuumo Okai ameni bi na ameke ba ka me yemo ni ba pia amesani na ameke ba court to ese no nkane abo kenklen amlone no ni makane maabwe le Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke eja seche yemo na ameke ba ke ni bi na ameke ba ni ameke ba pia amesani ese amena jiemo ni ameke ba sani na akeba eshi ame no ni makane maabwe. The original first defendant, Nicholas Ayitey, passed on before the trial and was substituted by Ni Ayikwe. What just said, before Ni about going sanine yelie, a choice, a fita chemai, a bo, we were the Esanimoko abato enajian. Moni bato enajian, actually Ni Ayikwe. Before his death, he gave a witness statement which was put in evidence by Ni Ayikwe as Exhibit 10. Shimon, Dani Egboe, ena yemo ye ni ekeha ni Ayikwe ni Ayikwe leon ekeba court to amakile Exhibit 10. In the said witness statement, he stated that he was a pensioner, egele pensionani, a retired accounts clerk, and the judge of Korle biane nitrage watch Nicholas ne egbe enigma mi egele pensionani, a retired accounts clerk ni legit judge. He claimed that the second defendant was installed by the rightful and competent customary authority and that the earlier attempted installation of first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo could not be completed. Eke, Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah, what chuk betapa no, ni waketole. Mene sana me fita ina to Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah fen. Ame fa me fita ni atole. Shimo Nuumo Okai toe ni mi fita ina atole. Kusumie, wakbe kusumina. No lile yuone. What be kusumina? For the simple reason that he has no blood lineage from Korle. What be kusuna? Agamini. Wayose ake elatopa je Korle no wo na dabi eje Korle no ne ebela topa ni yo Korle mi wonyen what to le Korle Wulomo. He further claimed that by competent authorities he meant himself as Korle Jase, the Waye priestesses, and the heads of the various constituent quarters of Onomroko clan. Egekeke amecheme kemenisa aka amechunu chumone chole le jase che ke Waye ke agbene iche shorty ni yo Onomroko wekuemi. Number 1 no anemio Korle ni amasa oshekuwe izi oseku alo oshekuwe ashon jemawon abewe tete afrimiwe ke antewe. So neke wekui ekpane iche ni yo neke wekui ekpane mi fe amefe kome ke Waye ke le jase che ni amechunu chumo eha Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah. Mind you okay, not let me confuse you. Let's go on. He claimed that he was one of those who erroneously and mistakenly participated in a wrongful attempt to install the first plaintiff to the high customary office of Korle Wulomo in 2002. Egele le ake efitai. Shinaka no ejitotomoni. Ejitotomo lele ake efitai. ni aketo Nuumo Okai in 2002. She nakano edito tomoni nakano chumo na mechumo edito tomoni. And that the said attempt was resisted by Ni Ayi Anan of blessed memory, along with the section Korle, which culminated in judgment ensued number Ni Ayi Anan and 5 others. So I admit that if it is not Nuumo Okai, she lene kwebiane nakano totomoni ameton amefele ojogba. He claimed that it had come to light that the said judgment was delivered. He claimed that it had come to light after the said judgment was delivered that the first plaintiff's father, Egbert Tetefio Anan, was from Sempe through the blood lineage of his father, George Ni Okai Anan of Sempe, as evidenced by obituary notices. These exhibits 1, 2, 3. Now, I have the obituary notices here. I have it. Me clearly, I don't know. Anyways, lawyers will always be lawyers. But I'll show you the obituary. There is something in the obituary. Nichon ake a chair ejesempelu. Yes. A chair enye jesempe. Nakaino ajeko he wani. Ameke ko ake e papa e mami ejesempe. So koko obituary ba ni sempe manchegbe yemi. Allo sempe onukpa ikome yemi. You are not showing anything. More ejeko wani ake e ninja sempe. In this case, a papa jesempe. So okay you okay papa obituary ba. Okay papa nyemi obituary ba. Ni sempe onukpa yemi. Of course. E ba imi. Because e na jesempe aje wani ake na jesempe. So I don't understand what these people are trying to prove. Seriously, I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh my goodness. Oh, really sad today. Bomo, papa mami ejesempe. So koko obituary ba sempe gbe obituary na kan no amale nyese kechese ta mo obituary nyese kechese ye beje numpe for ogbomo musu ejege yopo ni omusu. So obituary no ba na mo enyese ba yimi. What are we doing? Seriously, what are we doing? What are we doing? Ona kefere afe to mobe ni tete otabi ebe ona no fe da bi je na ga anu kwale e kometo ni ken na ke afite ni bi. It's like, come on, we can do better. We can do better. Nyani, look, this period in our history, it is my prayer that it will be the last time. Because look, it's becoming one too many. Like, we should be ashamed of ourselves that we continue to do some of these things. It's insane. Obituary for obituary, no bana. Ye no more kind ewe kunyoko ye. Of course, sempe ba ini. Because na ye sempe. Oh, Billy Sunday. He claimed that whereas the first plaintiff was never confirmed as Korle Wulomo, the second defendant had been officially inducted into the Gamanches Palace and officially confirmed as a member of the Traditional Council. Except I have something there which clearly goes against this. I have it. In the Traditional Council, money I may co-opt ake Korle Wulomo ji Nuumo Okai. Yes. At some point, I'm a co-opt Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah. I'm a jailer. He was suspended. He was removed from there. I have all the letters. In your fair, and in catch on your down sometime. Maybe I'll do a show. I'll show you all the documents because this week, watch out. The whistle over the calendar no kaimi onu. No work a week in a show me no about show and about fair. No work obituary Jia Chong. Letter say from the Traditional Council testimony any ame ni neba ha I'm a assistant registrar ba ye na kan wolu eke ni bi e komeye bi e ni wo ke chon man bi e ni amena ke look Jenny what tabi ani wo mamoko ni wonyemo hie dabi no no yo wolu mi e no wo ke chon ni. He denied leading thugs to vandalize the Korle shrine and maintained that the first plaintiff is from Sempe and could not hold the high office of Korle Wulomo. Egana keji akele echume ni aba ataki me eke basa felo e back ni Korle we na aba ataki me na fite ni bi na kan no ebemi ni ano ne manomi ake Nuumo Okai enye ye Korle Wulomo ejake eje Sempe. Exhibits 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 were attached to his witness statement as evidence of the installation and induction of second defendant into the traditional council. Once again, exhibits nearby, ike wojin ken fod ni nke ni biba ni chon bi ameni asha Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah kewo ga traditional council. The substituted defendant ene be jaseche le no jino ni akane agbene moni badumo energia na egbo ni egbo moni badumo energia lewu ena yuemo ni ekebane. The substituted first defendant ni Ayikwe gave a witness statement in which he testified that his grandfather ni Ayi of Korle was among the elders who installed Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah II as Korle Wulomo. Ekele eni fitameni to Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah niji enyo no Korle Wulomo. He further testified that there are 4 principal houses within Onomroko Korle. These are Ni Tete Amrakesewe, Ni Tete Oyiramwe, Amasa Oshekuwe, Ni Odai Intowe, and Ni Mensa Osefiwe. So he claimed that a Wulomo was selected from 3 of the principal houses on a rotational basis. Once again, Niki Sandene, I feel more 2011 judgment time every I address if again kaba to Korle Wulomo atoye shan edwenemi a move or kejebie ketebie esanene you on it. He alleged that the first plaintiff did not hail from Korle and that his name Pakpo showed that his roots were from Sempe. Egana Nuumo Okai eje Korle eyaga chole Pakpo ni wala ke awo Pakpo ye Korle Pakpo Sempe awo ye so le enye ye Korle Wulomo. He claimed that it was not true that once installed, a Wulomo could not be removed, especially if he had committed sacrilege. Again, ke ato Wulomo anya akpale na ke no je anu kwale ni. Ke ato Wulomo anya akpale. Ke je Wulomo efe musu boni anya akpale. We know through history and tradition and custom ake akpa Wulomo achiola akpasa ashi. He tendered Exhibit 9 and 9A as evidence of rites he and the late Nicholas Ayitey performed at the Traditional Council during the induction of second defendant. Lewu eke evidence ba eke nima anoni ba ni chon biami ni asha Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah kebagan Traditional Council 13. The second defendant Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah belewu noni a written statement in a witness statement, witness. So le we statement in a so agbene Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah le eba neba yu. Na wa bo ale to e. Ovane jani femo kiyamoko ni lewu e kiyamoko ye shiba mi. Keni femo yamoko. Yes. In the yes, some of head of family normally installed from the OB. I know. Atu yabi may piani. I mean, you will kuiche ye. I mean, you lumeni yabi pojiame. Yes, I know that for a fact. Wafewali. May piana me you will kuiche ni yabi jiame. Yep. Yeah, what channel? Me joining Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah. The second defendant also gave a witness statement in which he testified that he hailed from Onomrako family of Korle. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah kele eje Korle we particularly Amasan Osekuwe egele le eje Amasan Osekuwe ye Korle we from which most of his predecessor, Wulomo, hailed. Nega mason se kuwene, jame ato Wulomo, pi keje Korle we, ato keje neke shianemi. He claimed that in 2016, he was selected from proper lineage and taken through all customary rites for installation of a Wulomo, and subsequently became head of Korle we. Eke ya afi akpei enyo, kenyuma ke pa miye, le afale, cheme afale mu, ni akele chokusumi femi, ni atole ake Korle Wulomo. He claimed that the first plaintiff did not hail from Korle we, and that the first plaintiff and his father misled the court to give judgment in his favor in the case of Ayanan and others, and Egbert Tetefio, Anan, and others. Again, Nuumo Okai eje Korle we mile ke e papa ke me kome in 2011 ame male court to ni ame laka court to na me ke nana ke 2011 judgment. He maintained that the instant suit against him was unwarranted. Again, sani na ke bashimie, esani ake bashiomi kula, esana ke bashiomi. Wachano. A witness statement was filed for defendant by one ni Ayefio the second. Moko ni actually ni Ayefio ni Jenyo. Wache kona actually ni Ayefio ni Jenyo. Leo engmawolo ke pia Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke jase chenese, who testified that he was known in private life as Ransom Tete Ayefio. He testified, among others, that to be a Korle Wulomo, one must trace his genealogy to Nomroko Korle we through any of these three houses, namely Tete Amrakesewe, Tete Oyiramwe, and Ni Odaintowi. Egana, Kemuko Baye Korle Wulomo, Esanina Nekemone, Etroake Eje Korle we, Esani Etroake Ejeneke, Wekui Etene, Ye Korle Wulomo. Tete Amrakesewe, Tete Oyiramwe, and Ni Odaintowi. He claimed that the last universally accepted Wulomo was Ni Ayitey Cobblah II, and that he was from Tete Amrakesewe. Again, wafe waliake moni ye Wulomo ne egbo dani saneba Korle Wulomo yeli ene nakemo waliake le eje Korle we ne eje Tete Amrakese nomi jemeje neje. He claimed that to the best of his knowledge, first plaintiff did not have any connection to the three houses from which a Wulomo could be installed. Again, le ye nile mi ke no fe no ne na mi no kokla be ni chwake Nuumo Okai ejaneke shian etenemi ni no ewo esani atole Korle Wulomo. He alleged that the first plaintiff had not been introduced to the Gbese, Aswe, or Gamanche as the duly appointed Wulomo, and therefore was not recognized as such. Ekele akele ya chonko Gbese manche, akele ya chonko Aswe manche, akele ya chonko Gamanche, niji Nuumo Okai neke me etenefe Gbese manche, Aswe manche Gamanche, akele ya chonko ame no ewo le anya yosele akele ji Wulomo. On the contrary, he claimed that the second defendant had been inducted into the Traditional Council in 2016 per Exhibit 11. Shimon ege Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah le akele te Gan Traditional Council ni akele achon. A witness statement was filed on behalf of defendants by one Nakokoi Dubati. Hey, Yoko Yoko. Yoko Yoko. Yoko Yoko. Hey, Yoko Yoko. Nakokoi Dubati. Yoko Yoko. Aye. Kwa benye Wulomo, leo egmawolo, kepia Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah. You know what's interesting? I think the last time ni efe noko, the whistle. Tell me if I'm wrong. I remember you and I, we saw na kan video. The last time ni efe noko, nyele ake Nuumo Okai ke Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah, they all went there. I don't know whether the amini you mo Joe efe noko last. I believe it was last year. Nuumo Okai ke Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah, they were all there. they were all there. Hey, Yoko. Sani ego kula bega ne be mi ye. Nege na akogwe dugbate ne. Sani ego kula bega ne be mi. Sanji ni yo gafe mi. A witness statement was filed on behalf of defendants by one Nakwe Dugbate, who claimed that she was Manye and Queen Mother of Kwabenya and a member of the Traditional Council, among others. She claimed she was installed as Kwabenya Manye in 1992. She claimed she was already Manye when Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah II, the last Korle Wulomo, died in 1997. So again, leji Kwabenya Wulomo ni atole Manye 1992. Biamini Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ni Jenyogbo ye 1997 no miele ye Wulomo. She claimed that after the death of Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah II, one Dr. Planche acted as Korle Wulomo until the second defendant was installed as a successor in 2016. Eke biamini Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ni Jenyo egbo Dr. Planche no na Dr. Planche te courtwe benye kayo nye sane mi atwon wodo ni gisho na ge wona ye enemy acted as Korle Wulomo until the second defendant was installed. Neke Dr. Planche ne biamini Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ni Jenyo no ogbo Dr. Planche ne leji eba ni eba ye Korle Wulomo kata biamini ato Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ni J10. She alleged that it was the High Court that appointed a plaintiff as Korle Wulomo in the case of Yi and Ayi Anang versus Egbetetefio Anang. Again, court to Jimoni eto Nuumo Okai age Korle Wulomo court to. She maintained that the Korle family can never accept first plaintiff as their Wulomo because he does not hail from Korle. She attached Exhibit 10 as evidence of the role she played at the burial of Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah II. Again, Nuumo Okai enye Korle Wulomo. Ejake ejeme no wo enye Korle Wulomo. Eke woloba ni chon ake biamini afun Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ni jenyo echu noko yehi. Grandma onora. Now, where? The defendant subpoenaed witness, the deputy registrar of the Traditional Council, presented the proceedings of the Traditional Council Committee, proceedings of the committee appointed by the NRC and under the Committee of Inquiry, Traditional Council Affairs, Instrument EI 111. Sittings of these proceedings made interesting reading. However, the committee's findings were omitted. Noni achele na ikeba registrar Traditional Council ke eba ikenaka noba ke ne kanye I mean ni BP mishimon ajeye enemy. Now, plaintiff's counsel closing address. Now, agbene Nuumo Okai ka agbache I'm a lawyer. Ne bu asane na afen no ni egma na ekia judge no ne alo ekia court to ne. In his closing address, counsel for plaintiffs submitted that in paragraph 2 of defendant's statement of evidence, they admitted that first plaintiff was indeed installed as Korle Wulomo on 5th May 2002. Agelo ani ma mi egma mi ake keji okwe me na meke sane eba ehie amelienche ameya wo mi ake ato Nuumo Okai Wulomo no lawyer ege court to nye kwa yi ya medienche ameni ma mi ameya wo mi ake Nuumo Okai ato le Wulomo. Now, the relevant pleading reads the relevant pleading reads as follows. Save that the first plaintiff was installed on 5th May 2002. The rest of the averment contained in paragraph 1 of the statement of claim is denied. So you have been agbene paragraph 1 noni menemeke ba ameke dabi no ibemi. He also submitted that the defendants were aware that members of their family had sued the plaintiff and others over the installation of first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo in a case entitled Ni Ayi Ni Ayi Anan and others versus Egbet Tetefio Anan and others, suit number MISC 1006/02 Exhibit A, in which the High Court, differently constituted, had promised on the validity of the appointment or installation of first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo. Lawyer Tenone Yuake, many workers on the eshine, Ameliake, Biaminato, in client ato Nuumo Okai me ko make sanete ake court to akwe ake Nuumo Okai achok bekpekpa no ni ake tolelo ni nakaino ne me ni ke sanete ame luzu court to ane fe fan ake court to conclude fe fan ke leleng gbomo atole Korle Wulomo ni atole ojogba. He maintained that the said judgment, which had not been appealed, was binding on the defendants in the instant suit as it dealt with the eligibility and propriety of the installation of first plaintiff as Korle Wulomo. Nege judgment in any one in 2011. Nege judgment in a women any work as son in a beshi. I may appeal go na judgment here. No, I may appeal go. No judgment there you are. A sunny amekachuni. It is binding on them. A sunny amekachuni because I may appeal go. Niko to bawe chafu. No amenya amekake nakano amekachuni. He further contended that based on the principle of estoppel, which is an aspect of the plea of res judicata, the defendants were stopped from relitigating the issue of the eligibility and propriety of the installation of plaintiff as Korle Wulomo. Now, principle of estoppel. Kake estoppel. I think I have 3 different types of estoppel, and there is a 4th one that has got to do with real estate. I am not going to actually a promissory estoppel. Literally, keji owomoko shinke ona abue. Even though like wologma abehe onye ni mo heye ni mo chunwe niye onyo chako na abu. That is promissory. Another one I think I got actually equitable estoppel. I think I get equitable estoppel. It's pretty much the same thing, but no, it's got to be in keji okemo konoko ni nakano po ogma poe bona ogma ye wolomi po ni mo heye ne chunoko onyo okay court bona because never agreement. You understand what I'm saying? Then I've been echo na chole collateral estoppel. Collateral estoppel is yake keji courtu eye sani omoe onyo kwose no keya courtu eko akeshi o ya no wa yesane ni courtu e yomo ni courtu e declare courtu e pronounce a judgment omoe onyo kesane ekuse eya eko. So and in this case collateral estoppel no jino ni emo ye be because lawyer nkake no na meke ba na ye ne sane ne aye omo aye 2011 omo no na litigate omo ni ame appeal ko amenya ame sa ame ba aka ame ba na ame ba ye na kansane e ko bona. And then there is another one kona actually I think it's called leaded estoppel also. No, usually it deals with real estate. Clients get to more high chuni ko landlord in sign bojin something like that. So any collateral estoppel no do no more and that is simply means okay keji aye sane omo ni court to pronounce judgment omwe onyo sa okuo se okay na kan sane aye kon ake judge ayaye. And that is where known as res judicata. Res judicata pretty much is a case that has been settled by court. You cannot take it back. You cannot relitigate it. Onyo okay asomwe kon court to kon na aye kon. It's done. It's settled. No Nuumo Okai lawyer nchono kwake emo ameye bie because na kan sane ayo omo ona boni nchon ni ame appeal. So amenya ame chake amenya ame sa ame wo sane ko nkeba ake court abaye omo. Now he cited the case of in RE Secheduma 2 Nyami versus Kesi Elias Konto 1999 DLSC 501 where the Supreme Court held in holding 1 that now we are. Again, furthermore, the plea of res judicata encompasses 3 types of estoppels: cause of action estoppel and issue estoppel in the wider sense. Cause of action estoppel should be properly confined to cases where the cause of action and the parties or their previous are the same in both current and previous proceedings. In contrast, issue estoppel arises where a defense is not available because the cause of action are not the same in both proceedings. Instead, it operates where issues, factual or legal, have either been determined in previous proceedings between the parties. Issue estoppel in the strict sense, or where issues have been litigated in previous proceedings, but owing to negligence, inadvertence, or even accident, they were not brought before the court. Issue estoppel in the wider sense. So holding ni akande yebiebe any judge site here. Relying on the above authority, it submitted that it was against law and procedure for the parties in this suit to relitigate issues regarding whether first plaintiff had a blood relationship to Korle and whether it was from Sempe or Korle, as those issues had already been determined in the 2011 judgment. That's it. Collateral estoppel. Ayeomo, you cannot take it back to the court and relitigate it. Ayeomo, Sania Ayeomo. So lawyer Kena, I'm a Sania ba na me chok, especially where any Sania can Okai hold in any candy habwe, where any Sania Bemeni your Sania mi amenoni. You understand? In this case, you have Nuumo Okai, you have Dagbache, and even the Jaseche on the same issue. You understand what I'm saying? So I yes Sanyomo, amenya me chok neken court to ne, ame chok neken way in am town, I'm about really to get neken Sanino. Counsel for Defendants closing address. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke Ejaseche ame lawyer na yuemo ni ekebaha jeje ni jeje akwe hune. Mini jononi Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke Jaseche moni ebadume na jia. Mini jononi ame lawyer ke. On his part, counsel for defendant in his closing address submitted that both parties were at idem that to become a Korle Wulomo, one must of necessity come from the Korle and trace one's lineage through the male line as was established by his lordship Amisa Kumsi J in the 2011 judgment. Kake at idem, allo at idem, they were all in agreement. Bona, both parties, both parties were all in agreement. I'm a fan of Penenoake, Kemokobaye, Korle Wulomo, but it's animo, eje num, latokpami. Bona, Nagan Latin, that's what it means. And in agreement, yeah, both parties were at idem, allo at idem, they were all in agreement. Okay, Neke Jiboni, Kabayi, Korle Wulomo, Neke Jiboni, yo. He further submitted that the question whether first plaintiff was properly installed as Korle Wulomo was hinged fundamentally on his eligibility to be installed as such. For if he was not eligible by lineage, then no amount of ritual or ceremony could cloak him with the title. Nemo that ko nom hebet. One cannot give what one does not have. Again, Tumobeni amefa amekpagbe. Akeke mokoba ye Korle Wulomo. Esani mo ejela nu latokpa mi. Nojinoni poteni esani akwe. Ejake nojinoni eya. Noji the fundamental ni na asana akwe. Noji the number one ka to Korle Wulomo. Noji number one. No wakeji oje nobi. Ni afe kusumi habodi enche. Kusumi it will not hold. Because it's an affair shuake, the first thing about affair shuak jake ojenu latokpami. Now one cannot give what one does not have. And the family elders could not confer the Korle Wulomo office on a non-member of the Korle lineage. He further contended that the defendant's position was that the first plaintiff does not hail from the Korle clan by blood, and therefore its installation was a nullity ab initio. Again, le Nuumo Okai enum eje nun latokpami ye Korle no anu ewo le enye ye Korle Wulomo no kusumi fe kusumi na fiale keto fe to na fiale nakano from the very get-go, from the very beginning, nakano eja ab initio. From the very beginning, I watch afun. He maintained that the unchallenged evidence demonstrates that first plaintiff's paternal family is Sempe, not Korle. Again, what evidence ni naga evidence anyeko awa chafo ni chwanke le Nuumo Okai echese eje Sempe echese eje Korle naga evidence wana ko fe obituary gene. And that first plaintiff's surname Anan itself is associated with the Sempe clan. Ni agbenenwe Anan a last name Anan lewe Anan Sempe bi Anan ni sha wana ye Korle. different spellings you may say, but it's the same man. Some with the G, one with the G, one without a G. Last name Speed. Look, in the Lante we be ni. I'm a speller Lante. A last name Lante in the true sense of how you spell Lante. 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 Me come un spell ole. Lamtey. Lante. Lante no. You understand? You see, some I don't know, but you see, lawyers will always be lawyers. Lawyers will always be lawyers. They will not change. She maybe a me ordinary person can tabi any some of these basic facts. If you are Ona Lante no me come any am last name I'm a spell Lante. Make me look at why fit I Lante. Lantey. The same Lante. So you have two spellings. Lante. Lante. Lantey. Lante. Make me spell Lamptey. Lante no. It's the same Lante. I'm a fair Lante janwi. Yen keba ke come. Make me spell or come. Keke. Make me spell or kesi. Fe come. I'm a sakumo. Tonji. Okay. Make me spell Okine. Mogo spell Okai. Okai no. Ona. So I don't know, but lawyers will always be lawyers. Yavare, nyami 1 second. Oh man. Yeah, well, Okay. He further argued that in the 2002 suit, which culminated in the judgment delivered on 1st November 2011, the High Court was persuaded by the defendants therein that first plaintiff's father, Egbeti Anan, was related to the Korle of family through his father's line. However, the information had turned out to be false, as multiple pieces of evidence emerged after the 2011 judgment which disclosed first plaintiff's father's true identity. Again, now, watch a Nuumo Okai, watch a Nuumo Okai, a papa, ni ameba na meba male court to ake e papa je Korle. She said me ni ayesani after 2011. Amena information p can be p eba ni chwage dabi e papa eje Korle. However, this information had turned out to be false, as multiple pieces of evidence emerged after 2011 judgment which disclosed first plaintiff's father's true lineage. He referred to ma no you are a boy anu kwale bebe ma ngabo kpagbe. He referred to exhibits 1, 2, and 3, which were tendered in evidence by defendants in this action as the inculpatory evidence against first plaintiff's father. So eke nibi ba nibi eko enyo nibi etem by exhibits 1, 2, 3, which eke ba ye ame niemi ni le ame susumo miye echon ake wache Nuumo Okai e papa be emale ni chwage lele akeka ake je Korle we. It is inculpatory. Ni chwage not gonna find all guilty. Brother, so we have inculpatory and exculpatory. Inculpatory find all guilty. Exculpatory you understand? A job will me. A find all not guilty. I think that is the basic explanation. The said exhibits were obituary, once again, the same obituary. I will show the obituary notices to you. The said exhibits were obituary notices published by first plaintiff's family in 2012, 2017, and 2019. In year 3 obituaries in the said documents, the first plaintiff's father, Mr. E.T. Anan, had been described as head of a Sempe family. The Otum Brown family of Sempe Mamprobi. Nichwage, naka obituary can claim here, but we. Obituary can claim na ameke ba mi here. Watch Nuumo Okai Nuumo Okai e papa a describe le ake weku ichoni ye Sempe ye Otu Brown family weku Otu Brown family jameje ni mami je ye mami niji mina chole niji le Nuumo Okai e papa mami be Nuumo Okai ena jame eje Otu Brown family me. I don't know. Lawyers will always be lawyers, but this thing is so basic. I just don't get it. You understand what I'm saying? Nuumo Okai ena jimoni je Otu Brown family me. Ena aje ko wani. Nuumo Okai eje ko wani ake ena je Sempe. Eje ko wani. So ke papa Otu Brown we ku ichwe ye nye se. Awo yo bi we kunupa anya awo ni wo fe abola piani. See, I love doing this. Ni wo fe abola piani sanye nyi ekpa no ake Dr. Jesse Ankra eke wa ake e papa eye abola piani we ku ichodan she papa eje dadebana Ankra we dadebana je na meje she papa mami je abola piani. No ne papa mami Dr. Jesse Ankra ne papa mami jabola piani ewo ato papa we kunukpa ya bola piani. What are you doing? What are you doing? Lawyers, oh, Lewis and I agree. Lawyers will always be lawyers. Lawyers, they will always be lawyers. Ima akole nle go mi fun she kan no mi fun sun ebe ne kemi fe ne gwa ba lo mo mi e ja ke mi e ma ye lo jogba na ekole nke shika pi ba hia nke shika pi ba hia no ekole e cholo ya ngwe ni because nye mama le de ge wo nke shika pi ba hia He has said that it is beyond credibility to think that if Mr. Annan were genuinely of Korle descent, he and his family will publicly tout him as head of a Sempe family. The only reasonable conclusion it's unbelievable. Wache ni oda ulu. Nyani nkele nwa fi example. Wache ni oda ulu eche se je gbese songmena. No ko se gbese songmena leji principal elder. She nye se je Sempe no atole Sempe mostemfu akwa shonche. So keji onake elumo ne yu Sempe ni noko ye songmena na sane ye alo ebiko. But you see, so these people are telling us, okay, wache Nuumo ni oda ulu na over ne femo ni bi ojogba le imbi 2 generations from now abage oye akwash oye Muslim fu akwashonche ye Sempe no ayebe no go club mo ye gbese. Big bro, femo ni bi ojogba 2 generations from now abage mbi ake oye no go Sempe no amebe no go club mo ye gbese. Oh, these are it. Thank you. I get better konweba. I get odate we mo go spell ole ODARTEI. Me come spell ole ODARTEYE. Say mo date fe lanteja we mi. Oh, yeah, why do? The only reasonable conclusion is that Egbert Annan's patrilineal line is Sempe. Counsel for defendants further submitted that apart from the fact that first plaintiff's installation as Korle Wulomo was void on grounds of disqualification, the evidence also showed that Korle elders were never completed or endorsed first plaintiff's installation. He argued that the final rituals to confirm first plaintiff as Wulomo were withheld or aborted, and under those circumstances, it cannot be said that first plaintiff was properly installed as Korle Wulomo. Tumonake be Nuumo Okai I disqualified it. I've been issue from the very beginning because when you may establish according to may establish HSA the same pay. You understand what I'm saying? No, esane your klanika abeke no chuni umpo na ka you kusumi sande. Kusumi enwa agbe na. No na agbe kusumi na enye eyano ni eye Korle Wulomo. Speaking to the issue of estoppel raised by counsel for plaintiff in his closing address, counsel for defendant contended that no estoppel can legalize what custom forbids. Mbla estoppel mi echombo earlier. Echono gwage befe beni ame ba keji ame ke sanene ayomo no anye asa keba na ba ye ko noni kusumi kusumi nihi anye aka ake ene ayomo no esa na yo because no na fe ebe kusumi akpata kusumi here to na ka to Nuumo Okai akpata kusumi here achon kusumi no na ka batole no anya ba na ba ka aka ayesane omo. He further submitted that the 2011 judgment cannot be relied upon as a shield by first plaintiff because it was procured by the fraudulent testimony of Egbert Annan regarding his lineage. Again, 2011 judgment now me you is and anya akechuni because what Nuumo Okai papa emale no one am nana can judgment here emale ake eje Korle we na eje Korle we because I mean your obituary ni amegbe ake leji otum brown weku icho no eje Korle. Relying on the Supreme Court decision in Okay, so yeah, it'll be skip another line. Again, counsel for defendants contending that a judgment obtained by fraud is voidable and will be set aside if the fraud is proven. Relying on the Supreme Court decision in Amprofo versus Suman unreported 2015, he stated that an allegation of fraud goes to the root of every transaction. A judgment obtained by fraud passes no right under it. It also cited the case of Latte versus Afriye, 1961 Ghana Law Review 310, wherein the court stated that a person affected by a judgment procured by fraud can have it nullified. So once again, I mean, because ya me susu momie Nuumo Okai papa male akeje Korle we neje Korle we ni chwage echon befon no echon ojotwa beno ni amekena na ken judgment ni tumobeni la say lawyer kewo when you talk about fraud lebole, it unravels everything. Fraud viscerates all. Or so no fear no but not through fraud there. If it can be proven there, then nakano about what chafon, and that is the case he is making. Analysis and opinion of the court. So be a lawyer for any fair egma. I'm a written submission say can judge plaintiffs can defendants both parties say I'm a statements can it be fair, can evidence can it be fair, I'm making a court agbene court to ebani ebayu agbene. After carefully considering the submissions made by counsel on both sides in their closing addresses, the totality of evidence before the court and the issues set down for trial, particularly plaintiffs' issue 1, 2, 3, and 4, and defendants' additional issues 1, 2, 3, and 4. The question begging to be asked is whether the defendants, upon discovering evidence which led them to conclude that first plaintiff's father misled the court in 2002 suit, took steps to have the judgment set aside. Jajeke, ipo mofemo twe, mofemo wojin ni ekeba inkwe, mofemo nomima ni bi ni amekeba inkwe fe ni no enemy bisan yake, no anime na ke sanene eba eshine, i.e. Jase che ke Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ni judgment take in 2011 ni amenake Nuumo Okai papa emale court to nakano ani amechok beno ne sani amechon ni nakano ameka ame case ba present ame case ke court to ake na court no dumo remo ni Nuumo Okai papa yue no dumo no ni onye sani ha me na wana ni bi ni chon ake na Nuumo Okai papa eba male boe as counsel for the defendants accurately submitted in his closing address, the law is settled that a judgment obtained by fraud can be set aside if the alleged fraud is proven. Tumobeni Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah, a lawyer, you leleni, eji mla, ni mofemwe ya wumyake, keji mokote kotu, ne na judgment. Ni anye atwonake judgment ne echongbe gbonyono alo echong ojotwano ne kana court we keji akaba me court we yen na anya approve we na kan judgment yen na abawo achafu. What constitutes proof in law has been explained in the celebrated case of Mojalagbe versus Labi, 1959 Ghana Law Review 190 at 192, where Olenu J, as he then was, Judge Olenu as he then was, stated that proof in law is the establishment of facts by proper legal means. In the case of Jotepe versus Ahome III, number 2, 1984 to 86, number 1 Ghana Law Review 294, the Supreme Court held that the settled practice of the court is that a proper method of impeaching a completed judgment on ground of fraud is by action in which the particulars of fraud must be exactly given and the allegation established by street proof. No can about that. Nah, come go ba negana no go fraud there. But sani mo aba neba choni bi ojogban. Aka na abu ewe keke. Esa no ba yue ojogban no chon ojogban ke le mene e chon ojogban agbeno. Nekena. Also, in the case of Brutu versus Aferebi, 1984 to 86 Ghana Law Review 25, the Court of Appeal relied on the House of Lords decision in Jonesco versus Bird, 1930 AC 298, in which the House laid down the principle that where a judgment is attacked for fraud, fraud only must be in issue, and that it is not a re-hearing of the old case. Ni chwage keji moko na judgment ko case ne na site ni okage mo ena judgment through fraud be fraud any bo oyue no person no prove jeni abawo sane efe kon be sano ba no ba prove fraud no ke mo dumono ne ke na ba no ba prove she jeni abana ba wo sane efe kon na sabotemi. In the case of R. Ajekum, D is, I don't know if it's deceased, Ajekum and others, versus Taki and Brown, substituted by Agenda and others, 2005 to 2006, Supreme Court Ghana Law Review 851. The Supreme Court stated that allegations of fraud or forgery are not magic words that are capable of overturning a judgment of a court of competent jurisdiction unless it is set aside by any of the known methods. Nichwage onyo bakeke Supreme Court eyu na eyu ake onyo bakeke no bakake o judgment na not through fraud no gagebe awosani achafo dabi she sa no prove ake lela ake fraud they approve all the thing by a writ of summons or motion as the case demands. Once again, it's a no ya no assume ake judgment ne and not through fraud allow no filing motion. From the above, it is clear that until fraud is established through proper legal means, it remains an allegation. NFA wo kanyi mo go fraud no yue fraud kekele o yue le keke is an no prove ake ko nyo prove no ko na bu yue le o na bu keke no ka yue. Therefore, if the defendants in the instant action were convinced that they had stumbled on concrete evidence which led them to the conclusion that first plaintiff's father misled the court in the 2002 suit in order to obtain an advantage against them, they should have taken steps, i.e., issued a writ to set aside the 2011 judgment on the grounds of fraud. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke jase chene amege semi na ye 2011 sani ata amena ke Nuumo Ayitey Nuumo Okai e papa ba male court to no wani court to ha me judgment me no sani suku ami siu e sana me ke sani ya court to back koni awona na ma prove koni awona kan no achafun. In such an action, the sole issue to be determined by the court will be whether or not the alleged fraud had been proven to the appropriate legal standard. Amege court go basari ebi koteke ino nwe keji abana akwa mi here esani approve agelele amena na kan no through fraud je ni na baba na ba yue keke no. Now notably, Section 13(1) of the Evidence Act 1975 NRCD 323 provides that in any civil or criminal action, the burden of persuasion as to the commission by a party of a crime which is directly an issue requires proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Where the alleged fraud is proved through the proper legal means, the affected judgment will be vacated by the court, for fraud unravels everything. Fraud viscerates all. Alternatively, the defendants could have filed an appeal against the impugned decision. No, sir. Kiji you say na kan akelele fraud unwe. Egbe na me file your appeal against na kan 2011 judgment na me get not through fraud them. Per the rules of the Court of Appeal, CI 97, Rule 8.1, an appeal is by way of rehearing. We know this. Court document say no can you anytime I can appeal no kwe a court or nege CI 97 ne a for court to monako an appeal is by way of rehearing. No me na kan I file an appeal because can file an appeal appeal like sane go ba no file appeal baba ye na kan sane ko CI 97 bona appeal case say no can you ba na ke dana court nege CI 97 ne rule 8.1 ne dana you rehearing abasa ba ye sane ko nka je shishije atomo pakoda na ke sane ba na bona she no na me na ke sane shwa me appeal she ame fe see to Akwa versus Bosom 2001 to 2002, Supreme Court Ghana Law Review 61. Akufo-Addo versus Kearney, 1992, number 1 Ghana Law Review. Aye Akakpo versus Aya Idrisu, 2010, Supreme Court Ghana Law Review 891. And Jean versus Musa Bakun, 2007 to 2008, Supreme Court Ghana Law Review 686. Going by the route of an appeal, the defendants could have had the entire evidence reviewed in the light of facts that emerged after 2011 judgment. Because CI 97 Rule 81, appeal is by way of rehearing. Unfortunately, there is no evidence before this court that the defendants or any of the plaintiffs in the 2002 suit for that matter issued a writ to have the 2011 judgment set aside. No go kla be ni court to nabiane ni court ten we ake ne ke court to ake ne ke 2011 judgment ne I appeal it. Neither is there any evidence before this court that in the light of the evidence of alleged false representation made by first plaintiff's father that emerged after 2011 judgment, the defendants or the plaintiffs in the said action, some of whom are still alive, have filed an appeal against the said decision. No go clown bet to mo beni jeje you ko aka me appeal na me na kan ame woni bi ekete ko na me. In fact, under cross examination, jeje kana Shimon bi amini Nuumo Okai ma lawyer ebi Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah sande jeje ka mini. A second defendant cleverly avoided the question put to him by counsel for plaintiffs regarding whether an appeal had been filed against the 2011 judgment. See excerpts from the record of proceedings dated 11th October 2023. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah de bate se mini abile sande chok bekononi sande na biole ega answer esumo ne ba answer na bila ga na metemo go file appeal alo no go ega sande logo na jemo Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ega logo ke ani wakwe na kan portion na abile sande na abile ji Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah sande abio. The issue of the first plaintiff not coming from Korle but else from Sempe. One of the reasons why the plaintiff in that action from Korle went to court and putting it to you. Again, nege sanene ake Nuumo Okai eje Korle sheje Sempe eji sanene no ewo ake sanene te court to sanene ne ewo Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke yes no na ka bebe pa no kwale na bile ko. And the court went into the matter and came to the conclusion that the first plaintiff was a true blood of Korle. This court says so in Exhibit A. Nuumo Cobblah ke leleng no wana ke saniete court we ake court akwe age lela ke Nuumo Okai eje Korle lo ame ke eje Sempe meneji na jemo Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke ni court ke mimba ngamugo basande yabiye right. Any lawyer bile ko ina kansani e ball ake ni court e kwa mi fe court e we ake Nuumo Okai eje Korle lo court we bia wo ka wolu e mebi ani twa ake na kansani aye ni court e ke ake dabi bonu ye yu ake Nuumo Okai eje Sempe ebemi na kan shi eye eje Korle meji Nuumo Ayitey na jemo ge. These and other things are the reasons why we have a problem with the judgment. Because the first plaintiff does not come from Korle. Again, in the AJ na ake court to a woman, I can say a court to a woman, ake Nuumo Okai eje Korle go. Any kene one in a can judgment here, why a woman, egage Nuumo Okai eje Korle. Ni lawyer be You see, the plaintiffs in that action, including your own uncle, Atabotre, were very satisfied with the judgment of the court that the first plaintiff was a true blood of the Korle, and for that matter did not appeal. Question kona kele jiake lawyer ke bo ona meni ke sani ete ame na ken judgment ani jekwe ame ya womi bodi en church kwen na chola Atabotre na kan no ehe awomi ona ehe awomi no wana ame appeal here. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke that is not correct. Atabotre cannot accept the fact that Pakpo is from Korle. Again, no, you are Jay Nakani. Ichekwe Atabotre, enye awomi ake Pakpo je Korle. Clearly, if the defendants had a problem with the 2011 judgment, as second defendant has said it above, their recourse was to file an appeal against the said judgment. Yet, there is no indication that they did so. Judgment in 2011. Ameketa be esani shikwe ame yana ame file appeal eshi na kaino she know ame fe na kaino ame fe ya wachano wagbe na wata na nye bwatwe. This court thinks that it is unnecessary to determine whether the defendants had valid grounds customarily for removing the first plaintiff from office, or whether the first plaintiff was properly removed from office. Koteke ni wabakwe ake menik ake sanene eba eshine ameye egbe ni esake amefa Nuumo Nuumo Okai keje office alo whether Nuumo Okai afale alo akpale. Those issues were merely tangential. No me they were not really that important. They were not like it's on the peripheral. They know the main thing. So I got wasted time here. What is of great importance? So noni is whether the defendants, upon discovering evidence of alleged false representation made by first plaintiff's father concerning his lineage in 2002, were justified in taking matters into their own hands by sacking first plaintiff from office, as second defendant boldly asserted under cross-examination. See excerpts from record of proceedings dated 14 November 2023. Noni mo esani wako ejiake ani ni nekechemene ameka ame na noko ni chuake Nuumo Okai papa bamale nuewo ni ame na judgment ani ame cho beno papa na ame kefe no na ame fe alo esani esa ake ame komla ke wa ame die ncha ame den ni ame ya ni ama afa Nuumo Okai bona na ame yose alo ame ka ame na aka papa na ni a true fraud ani ame fe no na esa na ame fe alo ame die ncha ame ko esa aka ame die ncha ame ko mla ake wa ame den na ame ya na ama afale boni ame fale ke sane ni abi yaneke no kone no nyawo kwa question abiake, I'm suggesting to you that contrary to your evidence before this court, the first plaintiff was not acclaimed to have been destitute on reason that it does not hail from Korle. Question na abi jake once again Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah yo adeka ami abilake min kebuake ye noni nsane ne nyeke ba ami nyenkake no no wani nyefa Nuumo Okai nyefale because eje Korle we na kanji no nyeke nyefale because of no conclude eke Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah eke. It is true that it does not hail from Korle. Lawyer said Babileko, I'm suggesting to you that the purported destitutement of the first plaintiff was not only unlawful but uncustomary. Lawyer kebo Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah min kebo ake fa ni nyeke nyefa Nuumo Okai na kan no eje mlagbe ni je na kan no mpenwe kusumi gbenwe nye cho kusumi ni nyeke chu na kan nu chumo. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah he was not installed. That is the reason why he was sacked. Again, lelenche atole klapo no wana shwele question. But you agree with me that only Exhibit 4 reported that it was disturbed on certain grounds. Eke show ke mi kpa biake nye wojie komeni nye keba exhibit ko nye yuake akpale ye noko iwo. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah he was sacked because he was not installed. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah dabi ashwele ye kpa akpale was shwele ejake atole cry in the first place. So this is contrary to what a written statement take. I'm also suggesting to you that your purported installment is improper because there is a subsisting. I guess the word is substantial. Is it substantial? Yes, right. Korle Wulomo in the case of the first plaintiff. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah, that is not correct. I was brought to the shrine. I do not live there, and all the necessary customer rites were performed. And when the Korle Wulomo is appointed, he is first shown to the Judgement, and that was done before I was taken to the other chiefs. And after that, the Judgement will lead me to the traditional council, and that is where the final rites are performed. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah, no chon je anukwaleni me. Akami ba any tewacho shrine ten agbachuena, right? Akami ba agbachuena je me yo she akami ba je me na ba fe kusumi fe ami nini agbena akami achon gbese manche nini agbena gbese manche kenkle akami achon na agbena ni jase cheun kami achon mo fe mo ni agbena akami te gan traditional council ni jameji any afe kusumi na agbeno ni eshoye. Are you aware that under custom, an installed Wulomo cannot be removed from office? Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ani ole ake yakusumi keji ato Wulomo anyeni akpale lo. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah yes inle na kan ake ka ato Wulomo anye akpale. Lawyer ke, I'm suggesting to you that your action alongside Nicholas Adu Ayitey, the deceased, in attacking the first plaintiff and purporting to remove him from office was an insult to the judgment of the High Court as in Exhibit A. Egamin ke bwake bo oni femo ke oja seche nibi ninye fe ninye ataki Nuumo Okai min kenya ke ninye jele ye Korle we min kenya ke na ke no nyeche kotwe here atwa. Answer. What I'm saying is that the first plaintiff was never appointed as Korle Wulomo. Egamini, nonimi yanonimi kebu ejake. Nuumo Okai le atola ke Korle Wulomo. Atole. He was in the house, and the judge went to drive him from the house. Shiamin keke yo. Kwe sadimba. Substantive. Thank you. Substantive. Substantive. There was a substantive. He gave me substantial. Substantive. What I'm saying is that the first plaintiff was never appointed as Korle Wulomo. He was in the house, and the judge went to drive him from the house. Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah get Nuumo Okai. Shiamin keke yo. Ejame keke. Ni jase che tele. Ejame. Ashwele ejame. And he sent the matter to the police station and the court. And the court found out that all that he had said were not true. And so it dismissed the matter. Nuumo Okai ne balenake. Egesani te police station. They get to court. She called to nake. Nibi ane UFA amale no awole achafo. Again, Nuumo Okai Shiamin keke eto wulo efe kusumi go efe go no age Korle Wulomo. So between 2002 to 2016, ka adu Korle ma namo ni fio. Korle ma ke kusumi na fio Korle we fe between 2002 to 2016 na fale no mi namo fio. Now what channel? From the above exchange. Now, okay, ni ha komoku. Kemo like any share ebabotu insha last bien any share ya wa dienche. Bien any share in kemini ya wa dienche tramoko trale no be like ekwa ni tete TV lo any share ya tramoko bi ane no am about 1 minute. No facial, but film no about no about text. Me about 30 seconds. Tramo no text. Le kemo ke na share about to. Bu e kaji ni ese je kachon. Bi na aba share about bi to 2 minutes per back bena. Bi na ji any share je be any sani yo. Kemo mu aka eba. I'm about 30 seconds. I'm about 30 seconds. Bi na ji any sani yo. Bien any sunny yo tramoko no kela keba text mole kemala ken keba eba any sunny yo jame wo share bien any 30 seconds. If I call like you show me, but then like him show onu, like him show me, continue ni ya ngwenku. Like I said, Johnny Femo, Kiamoko, ni lewe Kiamoko. In 10 seconds, machano no, in gabi wash any meat here yo, jame wash. That's right. Now what channel agbene? Meet here. Now what kwa abi agbene? What shagbene? Yeah. From the above exchange, it is clear that defendants resorted to self-help by firstly preventing first plaintiff from performing his duties as Korle Wulomo, and secondly by installing a new Wulomo in his stead in utmost disregard of the 2011 judgment, which had pronounced on the validity of first plaintiff's appointment as Korle Wulomo. The court notes that the defendants, per Exhibit 4, claimed they had disturbed the first plaintiff on grounds of misconduct, when in reality, the underlying reason for their action was that they felt it was not qualified to occupy the position of Korle Wulomo because of his knowledge. Court yoseyake bemene na ke sanene ba ehia me ye ameni bi na meke ba mi ame yue ake nenewo ni amefa Nuumo Okai amefa Nuumo Okai because efeni bi ne sa chije ke ye sanene na ekwamie na ake da bi we bi ne no na menma ake no wa amefa Nuumo Okai na meke ba jeno ni amelenche ka me kwe jeje ke na ake amefa Nuumo Okai because I'm a susumomie I'm a failure ake Nuumo Okai esa ni eyo Korle Wulomo because of a latokma. The court further notes that the defendant's defense that the first plaintiff was never properly installed as Korle Wulomo because the process was aborted is an afterthought, because one cannot claim to have disturbed a person who was never installed into an office in the first place. Keji, I mean, we Nuumo Okai Jake Pamona Pale na echino goni se mi ame fe ame yake ame ba yue no na me na ncha me na ke na oni ni ya ale sani wa yue no ko na me ke ba mi because ame ni bi na me ke ba mi ame yu ake mo ame pale so moko ni atokole omo moko no ke otokole te fi oteni na ke mo o pale no jeje ke ne ka fa me da ame ncha na me tashe na me na ke kwe ene sani wa kwani wa kwe ame susu na me ke ba because nyege mo nye pale ye wo jie mi nyege pale because achele shete ne ba agbene Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah bata se mi e ga atokole shi am nkeke yo atokole Wulomo no ahwele je ke onye opamoko ni na kan mo otokole. It is the considered view one shejeme washe any lower yo jeme. It is the considered view of the court that the defendants resort to self-help in the face of a subsisting and binding, maybe that is the word, in the face of a subsisting and binding decision of the High Court of Justice. It is not only improper, but also an unwarranted affront to the authority of the High Court and administration of justice as established by the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. Le court to yosiake. Nibi nani webi ne fe na meke wa me here. Biami ni court eye ne kesane no mwe na kaino eja ni esa neji court to here ke 1992 Constitution here atwache mo ame che court to here atwa na ame che 1992 Constitution here wo atwa. However persuasive their reasons may be, the defendants cannot expect this court to sanction or condone their conduct in toppling or overturning a decision of the High Court differently constituted by means of self-help. Be fe beni ame susumo yo ame be wale ni ke court we you no kwe ame ba check court we yin atwa ni ame ba fe ni bi ashi court we because ame de ncha ame fe no na ame sumo na ame ke wa me. The defendants must learn to address their grievance through the proper legal means. Nekek bemene esani ame yose ni ame kase akekeji na agbako ni bi komen gba me na esani ame chom lag be fangbe ni ame ke na kan sani aye. For the above reasons, washe nando Judgement nyebu atwe gata teketete nke nyega fia omoko ye ga no afe rough abawo bomo ne sana wo bomo min kebu minke abawo bomo ne sana bo abomo abawo bomo nyekpa kemo ko chubu ago afe no ko kaya nyebu atwe bie ne mafo bie ni maja bo ba ja ehami nyebu abie atwe bie na ji eni lo eyo bie nyebu atwe agbere mi jeje embade eba munafen hawo mi ji no ni jeje ke. Now therefore the court makes the following declarations and orders. Number 1, the defendant's purported removal of first plaintiff from office as Korle Wulomo is unlawful and void. Jeke nekek bemene na ke sani ebehie amekpamo ni amekpa Nuumo Okai na kaino eje mlagbeno ni na kaino ifomi na kenkpamo na amekpa wa fomi. It is void. It is unlawful. Eje mlagbeno. Number 2, the defendant's purported installation of second defendant as Korle Wulomo is void. Jeke le Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah to ni akato le na kaino wa fomi wakachuni. Number 3, first plaintiff remains the Korle Wulomo and head of the Korle family. Jeke Nuumo Okai leji Korle Wulomo ke Korle we fe icho na kan jeke. Number 4, the second defendant is perpetually restrained from holding himself out as Korle Wulomo or performing the functions of a Korle Wulomo. Jeke yane ikekbetini enme Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah no eka che Wulomo don ne eka yano ne echu Korle we Wulomo nuchumo. Number 5, second defendant is to vacate the Korle shrine forthwith. Jeke Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke ya kene eboy wo moden ake ebabo moden nation Korle we e kan ni no ko chilebe ke ya kene efe ko ni eshi Korle we e kan ni no ko kra chilebe ekwe ni eshi jeme nya waji ahihie ko ni wagbla mi mini ji no ni jeje eke gateteketete ka akocho ka akokrant ka akote obaya jeli abawo bomo efolo bia na social media video ka afe camera mo fe mo nye ka posti na mobo omoko fe no phone ni odugba oba work papumi botwe jeje mi nje go jeje ke mini. The defendant's purported removal of first plaintiff from office as Korle Wulomo is unlawful and void. Eke mena ke sani ebehie na kan fa ni ameka amefa Nuumo Okai na kan no eje mlami no anwe wafumi no ni jenyo. The defendant's purported installation of second defendant as Korle Wulomo is void. Agbene to na ameka ameto Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ake Korle Wulomo na kan no wafumi no ni jete. First plaintiff remains the Korle Wulomo and head of the Korle family. Nuumo Okai le no ji Korle Wulomo ni le no eyano ni eye Korle wekue icho. Number 4, the second defendant is perpetually restrained from holding himself out as Korle Wulomo or performing the functions of a Korle Wulomo. JJK, Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah, inka gbachini emeno, ake eka Korle Wulomo don, ni eka yano, ni echuni ake Korle Wulomo. Mi kane jeko. The second defendant is perpetually restrained from holding himself out as Korle Wulomo or performing the functions of a Korle Wulomo. JJK, Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah, inka gbachini emeno, ake le eka Korle Wulomo don, ni eka yano, ne echuni ake Korle Wulomo. Second defendant is to vacate the Korle shrine forthwith. Jeke Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ekwe ne boye bomode ne shi Korle weshia eni Korle weshia e bomode ne shi jeme. Having regard to the conduct of defendants which led to the instant action and the length of the trial, cost is assessed at 50,000 against defendants in favor of plaintiffs. Jeke kwesene kake kejin kwe Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ke jase che ame ni femoy ke boni sanene eche ame iye shika against ame iye cost against ame iye 50,000 Ghana cedis against ame ba pay Nuumo Okai 50,000 Ghana cedis. Signed Barbara Tete Chawe, Mrs. Justice of the High Court. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Court weke Nuumo Okai leji Korle Wulomo. Ni Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah eka che Korle Wulomo. Eka yano. Ne fe Korle Wulomo kusumi. Ne chun Korle Wulomo nuchumo. Ladies and gentlemen, wake wani kanemo eba na agbe. Ochine mi tumo beni nke ebwe waba fe show. Ni nke picture se ba chombo. Iye obituary jian ye biye nke ba chombo. Ni ba twa videos yen comme press conferences e comme ni wo fe nke ba chombo koni okwe ake ani noni onu ni abafe press conference ke noni ikane abo nye kemene ani nakanji boni onalelo keji obasumo ni oyue text mommy high in the next 50 minutes ni wakwa ke oba pick up call slow nyani nke ayabache abano cheme nyete mo go fe ready na ba anye yue nliake ayabache le efe ready cheme kenyete mo go fe ready ye text am ni nganya abano onu Ayemi.
Yeah. I don't. No, that was trying to guy.
That's right.
So okay, by your friend, you did Omaje. And quality be Kobe ni Ayu. Si much money in your man, your gun. I'm about to be, I guess she. Sakma. My much like Sakma. I get Ben. A guy named I got told ni ai ni bekonehu I got told Nuumo mini Ayitey Cobblah ni diete no akela akeshi ekache Korle Wulomo keje mene kata nano na ka ke perpetually.
That's right.
Na ka kote ke nyeme Jamie ke je ni tete ke kote ke akeshi keje mene kata nano ekache Korle Wulomo don neka chuni ake Korle Wulomo don ye fa na ye shibami osumo wo anu akeshi mokwe afi noko ye na kan gbefa no nu ewo amole na akra awo pabu inye me nye buatu ala kanye keche ko teke sakpa ayi ni bekonehu eto Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ni diete no je leji Korle Wulomo ni enye etuni ake Korle Wulomo kede mene kata nano miwe akeke mukule ni afe bulu aba amole nyemeni nyenye kwa nyafia sikoni nyeshia miajo nye kotoku miajo ajo nye jemo miacho ajo nye ka fanani nye ka ko adade nye ka ko atu nye ka ko akonuku nye ka afi bulu ya ka ba monye aba monye wonye mie alo woche niji Nuumo Okai niji kenklemo papa mami je sempe no na acho le papu awo afa be na ke akewole afio ye gan efe imami ni fomi eje oyaduwe amewo ya boleke ya boko safa ena lantu egbe na kewole lo twa aka je oyaduwe don yi lo twa aka ye ni ye je don nye buatwe ni afio nye buluwe wonye nie je Korle Wulomo ni Korle Wulomo di Nuumo Okai ni di kenklemo egbe na ni nye ngale egbe na echu eni kenye le nyafe bulu aba monye ka okpabu ntete lupe ma yue.
That's right. Ishe chemege nyeme noko be ni wo ba yue don abache emuna ehawo wotabie ni won twa mi kaje gbe ji gbe ten ni wo bon ewie mo won twa mi ni twage je ma waji enkewo kesi sae ke cheme ko pleje mawu ame fa me nkewa ke nyenye me commentaw na me fe bulu nye woni ame won nye won nye mlatwo ni ka mobo na ke bo awo nogomi ko to eke o gare ja obezuma so ni won you ne nye bo awo to ke osumo Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah sande to mo beni mi sumeza wo fe osumo Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah sande abache ni nyeno na eyu ono na eyu esumo Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah sande wa ye bibio wa kemon
Wa deche ilele newo si isumo onye miesa de wa nkele won kesumu esa ne wa si no ne ja ejae no ne hi yo inyami no ba buleche oba na emini kefe nuku apa ka bu ko weku ka pele jo no mi ye ka ko be igbe no yo si je bo atomoku eje mi ato nyami eje le ye igbe na yo egbe na ke wole no to aka be igbe na yo ewo nyami bia no ba na mi ni san to ekunuta komo bi ko ngame bi 50 no to for ko for ame sika apele mpaka apele won ta ni gan ajo on
Ishe so like I said be nke nya ke Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah mbo wakele gba sande nke abache at least wakele gba sa about twice right wakele shenyo wakele gba sande ona wakele wakele gba sande onim shishi so me anukwale mi no go te mi enkele yue severally je shkome je shenyo enkele yue a lot of times bona ngele yue a lot of time ni last two conversations and kaya ba chefita in wakele gba sande so it's not because we tawo moko ni won fe agenda e shimoko da bi wasumo anukwale wo e na anukwale e kan jeme wo ko ba gbe no ka wonya anyo jibonjo wo wonu jibonjo no fe no na ehiye alo mla e support ibu you understand what I'm saying so they because wage Nuumo kan e amo e say dabi you understand what I'm saying no ni court to eke wo ko ba tuni pepe anukwale ene kan je me wo ko ba gbe ona boni nchon wo you anukwale great song panuke need to take please I saw one of their press saying that it is only Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah who the court has said should vacate the house not them ije nagai no mi una shi bio yake ani meni yoje biamini Nuumo kan yoje me ameji mere ke twoni meni Nuumo kan biamine yoje ameke twoni ameno ni Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ba ne ke twoni ni ke je ameno ni kusun fe lo ni no me Nuumo kan ka fi okusun e mi na me fe ame ke ame sure ame fe be Nuumo kan ye igbe na esu me ni yo je fe because jele ga me ba. You understand what I'm saying? Hello, great. No need you are going to be. Kusum fail any your jeme. Be I mean, Nuumo can you jeme from 2002 to 2016. Yeah. In another video, great. In another video, she mean chono kwa ke amen yue na kanye. Ani kusum fail ni Nuumo kan ke chuoni na me ba. Kusum fail no na me ke ba me ke chuni. Alo ame free. Now ame on kusum felo. What is good for the goose is equally good for the gander. Keji Wulomo keke na apelio. Ni kusum felo e be miye. Ani kusum felo ni no miye Nuumo kan ka me chuoni. Ani ame no na me ka me chuoni. Alo me conclude. So ge oba ni mi kusum felo osue mi ga me fe. Be mi un trusty bo kusum felo. Bo kusum felo interest ya me ama ba ya me fe mi noko ama ba ya me fe mi yeah
you me know you be na me ba kenji amba fa Nuumo epe na me shi kusum felo je me kwe le beni ni Nuumo ba ko e be ba me no ba dina
I know that's right
kel amela ke si Wulomo pe ame pelio mi no na me ba na ba shi eke won ti fe je me
yep
ni kelele ni ame ya affect ya me ko yin ba ni ba shi ame ya je ko ni yin ke Nuumo pa di li si je ke ni je me fe je me
that's all
e wo ko wa clear ke mi ngba be ngba clear ke fi no ya no ba a je gbelo na to ame
that's right clear
yo mo ba ta si ni UOPP e be le ne gba ni bi ami e gba je me nwe chon me aga si na ba ma je Wulomo pa ma je ke won ti fe yo ke se na ye shia hu e die yenye no mi ato mo ri shia ni e me ni yo je me yo am no baba ona ke je koklo je koklo
yep nyani wakwa video ne ni wakwa ke kusum felo ameno wa ba na video na mi lo okay eshe ukale cheke ogala fitai nya wakwa video ne aga wa ba na the same kusum felo mi lo ukale che ofa na ma twa video na aka ono ke go ba mi
Yo.
nya wakwa video ne aga kusum felo ameno wa ba na ebi yelo mo kan ele we ye me de kan tudi na me ba na ba shwa me fe so let asani ma feel agbo let ma feel agbo ma bo godo nyona Nuumo kan papa ne papa yo short term yi
Daniel
So video ni trouble kusum fail ameno na biane. Bona ga me conclude na exactly. So call ba do ba shwe kusum fail Eshe ongaleje bote mommy.
Au ni tete oya tausa no ho
Au.
we ale wa because mo look shakwa la wo believe all champion we believe all she chene ni ba ni fe do mani yeah ni tete it's about time ni sani o abo enu chumo it's about time ni sani law abo enu chumo ya okwe shakwa sani neke Nuumo Okai sani ne bona we an ka chale shakwa po ama Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah sani ne because I say le Wulomo no Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah sani ne go kwe say eke ni adamala chese they the same thing
Yeah, the same thing.
Yeah, the same thing the same thing ona dane game won show here shi won yenye court no liake jebu taje no liake jebu nomi ti abuse heko ni ona mini wo fi o eke court show ke o se o de iti o se bi na kole aboyo agbere wo ko kele baya AI no bi ane AI ni se AI is ka back
Oh.
e ha mo ko shika ake affix AI no ko AI ni is ka back because bi ane sani I mean abatashi na aje Wulomo in the way ni na yi ni ani mini aja yomu the way ni na aja yomu ona shi bi ane no fe no ona wonye mi ni baba e ko wa fe ni bi too much ona twa show ji go ni sa na twa ona di denture na assign ni bi na assign di dentures mi ele ke di denture in no ke di denture shi di denture bona shi wake me ni yes ake mo no le no ba fe bulu ani na ba mo wa obi sha be ya di emuwe obi ani eto ehe do because he aha le court order akemini esi premises say je leji Wulomo no Nuumo Okai je hegbe ni ejio amefe na ke we bi e ja ka be ke we bi ko tuni ba ya ma plan na gwa mo do ba
Yep.
Nuumo Okai le ya yi bo ko e akemini e ke ra chok be papa no na use mini law no ka ko shi je me law agbere ka me ba ka ko police ke soja ba ona be ni chaque small for je wa ona be ni ju ofo
Oh, Charlie, me sani.
ona be ni ju ofo no mi eso wanya andoni wo gba money wo sumo esani bi ke fe ko de hin o wa kele wo sumo le asinyani wo sumo esani no iso ne ba ju ofo ko be ju ofo be si da bi so na hin bele enyi ne ya ble o na e twa kwaja ne ya ble o ko ni mini sani ke sani aya ko ni le ona ke you ake da ne ko esani no o fe la ko e pro ke an me ke akọ tu e le ke mini ko tu e ro ko ke ti ko tu e ya gboda appeal na esani fine ko ni ewu mini ya no atashi din ke Nuumo Okai decide ke e ba chebo de ko ba tu ni it's up to him ona it's up to him bi ani ganjo ke se pando ni ni ada malache le we ke bi le we ni ganjo
Right.
ona ka ye we ya kwa ye ka se bulu ani ko ka se loko aye ni ona no te ni ta ma ye ni
Ishe. Yeah, uncle. Oh, in your life, if I have now. So if I have been, can't be now. Right. So, Chemeka Jame, there you have it. Abache, if I no go back be.
Oh, Jago Bami man be
So far, what receive you go no so that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That's it. Mugo track over done. So that's it. Inamoko me inyako yue. I'm a one more time ba.
Mo fia man ball bugo wa ku ke midi bo abubuka mo fia mo ke show no just take it cool.
Don't voice out.
Don't voice out. Don't voice out. Take it cool.
Yeah, me 1 second. Me back. Okay. nyani wafia 2 phone calls go. Hello?
Yeah, Nuumo tati.
Impa mi bodo manye to yo te.
Mo babu manye.
To manya blawo. O fine o ja ekpan no. Awu nu.
O fa ne dem fe, mo fi amon ojugba.
Mo fe mo ojugba.
Enwo na ke o jale ni bi ami ke han judgement e ja ke me ni gbe. Na me fi o ye ke han
nya wa me 1 second be nyele Ghana line
Nuumo Okai
ije ofane amachabo eko onu line amachabo eko you find e be nyele ochine mi ele Ghana line say ehi kokla nya wa fi akole eko ochine mi Ghana line say ehi kokla hello nche papa ofane oja ipanu agbeno mi agbene wonu ekula so ofane ya anu agbene
o fa ne no ni iyo yue mo je won na wa ke o jale judgement mi ojugba ke je 2011 ne ni ji ke je nye ke je mene uno gbe na ke ya 2016 judgement na e won na
that's right
e ja ke no ni yo mi ji tete fe ba nu ka me tu enfan be na fe ni ke je ameye no ko fe mo ye Korle we alo ameye no ko fe mo na ba wole ni bi ni ama fe ni gboyin ke ya no kwa akaba alo no kwa ba mi ba me gbe fangbe e ja ge bi a judgement na nye ke je abayin ba me no ke amla ame ke mla ba fisi e ja ke no ko ye na ba fi this is the time sani amekwa me no jugba ye ni bi ko me fi mo
that's right
to energy no ni mawie
ofane you
nu gbajo Nuumo Okai nu gbajo isebi
yaw
ono fiano ayemu fano manya bla wo fi
yaw eradon nu gbajo ofane bonka o basumoni owie text mommy hi gege nkebo e bakpan no onu hello nyemi
Judgement by the money.
manya bla wo fane to yo ten
Rano di bara.
ofane oja ipanu awu
Nto ma yelu go fiyo. Ndike ma do ni me.
right
Dane wo ni arabache you about Nuumo la kutia do shi. Bi pieno ni ano fe ogame kume wo yuko se. Shi Solomoni wo Nuumo iyo ke fiyo shi. Bi pie bujino ni wana because already it's all like we get mini bujino ni fe ni baba bujino ni wana
ne that's right
yeah no ona ke ni fe tumo yamina te kote shuna ke nibi ni do woni ni ji Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah shi nibi ni ya no sake kami jile ma pa Nuumo Nuumo agbo koni ofi kubi koni ofi wato agabe mashi because ito na me kwa fane geme ije ito tota
that's right
ni nyene nche le Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah je le ji woni iyo na kan Wulomo fu digba eja ka atuti ni digba je le muni yo o ga Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah ba taki ni jal ni bi am to abeje muni yo mo apakleche ni ina ne kobe bena
right
Wo munna ne kubbe na ye Wulomo. Shuna ga ni fit mo. Munna ne kubbe na binu. No in fa de ga ja Wulomo.
That's right.
Yes. Shuna ga ni ama fe ni etumo. Shia be ni na che wo ni ka wo e wo be. Ye shia up now. People ye shia ajako. I'm like I'm secretary ko de ke ma ya be.
That's right.
Be a percussion lulu. You wanna get more like Uchi. A young Jimmy Adamalashe, ni Adamalashe, no, you would give you no, you one name, no, you know one name.
That's right.
Only she, no, Nipi, a fair judgment, or you buy, and you know, for you. Now, a quite misate, no like it or she, Nuumo ni Adamalashe. Ni ano sake akwe ni akwana jaye me kama jani bi ko ni oge inglasa ta tini nka because Ayitey Cobblah ni go mi ni du ba shi ni jele no mi jele no onji ni jele no mi sake eyenye pomo ni ata ni fa ko ni ame fi ko mi na menya ame tu ko ni ame tsaga because ni chumo no na ne yo je mo ko mi chumo akwa misale yo ne ke me tuni ni bunko yo fita oni ni ndugere tuni rawa ona shi yomo yini le wala buta ni la buta do shi ba ni be pia me yomo yi fi mo shi yomo to pani ni no yi wona wona le bi fa ni be wona le bi fa ni be ke no yi wona boni shi go ni ba ga fe be fa Nako na gaji
Naka
na mu bo ni ko ni mu fa ko na ya no you are no no nyenye na do
all right now we have another call Uncle Johnny hey any ya know Uncle Johnny
Ni the prosecutor general.
Yes, sir. Viniano.
When I get prosecutor general title, no more me go get pili.
Dabi, Kla. If I call by you, text mommy hi. Catch me. Call try a disturbing me. Babu fight. Text mommy. Oh no, my trap. Oh no. So my family you try find text mommy. My trap. Oh no. Yeah. Over there, Uncle Johnny.
Oh, Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah. A picture, a thumbnail, no, very handsome guy.
Minkebo, where? When you mean a guy, yeah.
That guy said, I'm in your Bronx.
Oh, no. When you mean, yes, swag rough.
Like a general, you are rapper, not all Nelly.
Omale, yeah, they get picture name, yeah, that's right, yeah.
I swear, the capital nego but no, only no consume media friendly.
That's right.
The law is the law.
That's it.
No matter what noise, no bad fee. The law is the law.
Nakai.
Iwo leke baja AI. Wake physically she Korle we iwe banye ja Korle AI. Ibanye ya AI friend.
Oh, Charlie.
Ibanye ya AI friend. Ja AI Wulomo eje fen for.
Oh, Charlie, it is Saturday.
2011 judgment ni jekuwe. Ake jail di Wulomo. Ne sign indenture kemi na kan ni bia ni 2026 e manomine. Ne kame di left and they are in trouble.
Yeah, legally, yes. Yeah, all of them. Yep.
Because it is void.
Yep.
Judgment no void. Void.
Yep.
Void from the beginning. Void ab initio.
That's it.
My fear money can sign the can then check me ni be ne extend ke zoom lion ke na kame plante ye in short na. I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Because they have dealt with the wrong person.
That's right.
What Beni Araba Chewe, can Nuumo Okai no ye. Oye, get a blow be na kan gaje na kan le mo fiamu neke bring that dealing say ka ke avoid it as if he was never.
That's it.
He was never ever a Wulomo.
That's right.
Oh, wonderful shin. Ake ene oji ekpo because mini ba na fe contribution ne video no try mo go ke court nye cho wo money ba ye Wulomo. How can you be this ignorant? Our President Mahama, President-elect, 2012, Akelete Court. A whole president of Ghana, President-elect, Akelete Court.
And you know the funny thing, Paul Giake, nege 2002 case and Agbena 2011. That was one of the grounds ni Nuumo Okai I mean pleading, and they took it all the way to the Supreme Court, claiming Ake Wulomo Sanie it borders of chieftaincy. And of course, while I get mothers of chieftaincy and Boli, aye court, except for the Supreme Court. And they lost. So Nuumo Okai, funny enough, that was one of the grounds in 2002 and the cases, and they were saying, look, in a Wulomo Sanie to Manchester, Sania court. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court they get Abi Wulomo Sanie, yeah, Manchester Wulomo Sanie, or anyway court.
Good. Ewa boko nye domo benoye gan.
That's right.
Ne kake court nye 1992 constitution ne mo kwe da file.
Dabi. Mo femo ya shishi.
Me ne afwa me go coast you know po.
I'm a family ya shishi. No ya Ghana mi kometo ele.
They are subjects.
Yep.
Wa nyemme ame hane ebuta metwemi. Ene gidi. The law is the law. Wa kenye ba wale never New York ni boli.
Ona ishe. Over you. Yeah. Ishe. You find a nyani what try when you mean you find a yaki mene WhatsApp in laptop no ni if so phone and chin ni in feni ne FM body. It's only my restart so hello?
No. People money.
Omanya blawo you find it to your thing.
Open allow to mo yo ba.
Na ishe. Ofa no jai panu awan wo.
Numu tete noni yo mtedi. Akabe ega.
That's right.
Ni wo enyole po nya wo asante me ke ni bi na wa ke noni game noni wo fi one. Wo fi wo je ko mi ko na ati. Ni anukole ajipu. Mo fi mo ni o ga na aka anukole ye ni kan ni.
That's right.
Ni awo kan anukole anukole ni ejole abaga. Because the fact mo fi mo eye ko ni eyo ya ai. Because no yo mo ni yo gan ni wo yo mi ne ke inda tene. Ni ma ko ko lu. Ni ko tena ya inyo se unke ya. Because mita mana itu mo ko mi.
That's right.
Mita mana ke imbe. Ake no ni ya no ni. Go inja emi tete inja mi se no ikandi ono ni ya no pe ibo be fo na yo nku ba.
That's right.
No yo mo ye pedi. Wonye me ni ogame wonye me game kante komo ke ni bi komo ke ni bi pe mo eya.
That's right.
Ni papa moni kanio ni eton Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah. No, Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah awi.
I agree.
Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah awi. Because anukole ni bola ke jo. Nuumo leke tane ka ke tu Nuumo ke wo mo ni me veni ni esa la yo. No o fa na wa eni pe yin o ye mo yani wo gan kan se wo ni te ni bi ne se an de za fo ni gan won ajo ko fi won to gan ile.
That's right.
Ko no ma yan fi wo no
Yeah nyemi o iradon I hope I can nya wa try wonyemi no Hello, Nishibi.
Yeah.
Imbodo manye, tete.
Onye mi nimba mo fe mo manye fan.
Omanya blawo Nishibi. Over no jai
mo fe mo fan. Ngona wa aka o really judgment e jaga wote nkame wote me go me ka ba na ba ke wa ke awi ni e ko te alo ne ke ko ti ke be wo yin se si je ni wo po wo lo emi wo po bona ni ko ba yu le won ka bi e fi otumo challenges ke ona eche ko yu an kwale fe ba mi la ke o eche we side neke ona e fi oni etumo tui na no go ko ba yu po nyu yu.
That's right.
Bona mo ame fi la ke ko ba yu e bo en che gbo mo si kusum na cho no jo ba Pakwa waya school na to le. Kele kan bi abi o ye gan o le. Atolo waya school na to le. Le time ne fa e afa bo ke ni bi. Kana ba to le. No ile na me na ina gbe ke na fe kusu o wa lo jo ba.
That's right.
Mo papo. No le ake papo atolo jo ba. Ato papo jo ba. Bona.
Yeah.
Si kanu ko baba ni a fe ne kan sani kamana le ake ke won fe ne wonye waya yin. Onye waya yin ejage abalo sia wo ngbe mi so neke abalo sia wo ngbe mi so neke anu kwale adjeko ni no fe no akasie kan ni bula ka bule mo fe mo bu enyemi anu kwale adjeko nu wo fe wo na icho nu mo nu ga ko mo papa na ebu nu ga mi sha anye ga o anyi wo ga mi sha anye ga sino ni anu wo te me ko wo be mi se ni wo bi nkonye ba na mi se ko sile neke
Anukwale.
Wo no fi ono ni yue ni aga ngo na aka okane judgment e no grab ye take am icho mo fe mo mbotu e.
That's right.
Mo fe mo mbotu e. Wo gameno na efi atumo woni le fa wo bu ma na bu yo motu e wona fe bonile wo be ko me sana joju ato ka ne cut to have decisions na ba mumu me hia na kan de no Kakot you know what I say.
I agree.
Well, naga Nuumo kan majole wa ka di twitch to neto ana aga ke si an be ko aba the sumo ni be ko ba aga be ja won
dabi
aga be ja won aga be ta ene mana aga be fe kusu.
That's right.
Aga be fe kusu wo Nuumo kan majole ni ado ni kan ni fon fe ni ani na le ni wa we
no
kese bi fe ejake etole wa ka afi bo le ke yin asisuo mo no ko.
That's right.
Ka afi bo le ke yin asisuo mo ni meni nu sisi na me ba yu e si ka afi bo le ke e dole ke yin asisuo mo ka ji e ke atombo no watani na ne ke ni me na ke bo fe ne ke e dole ke yin asisuo mo wo dani ngo si ene ka wa she gan.
That's right.
Ake ekola wo you know anu kwale ba aje ko to ba ni kan kashi.
That's right.
Tumo beni chemeba yele. Anu kwale pe fite gan. Sika anu kwale boju ba. Woba na wo ejole. Krikate wobi ba na mi she. Kaji anu kwale aje ko katira. Ene ni jisije. Ni aga jensi nu wona ka paru omo. Ga nu wona. No ba jesi ka ya yin.
Klasa na kan.
No ba jesi. Ka ya anu kwale ji fe ba aje ko. Si o fe fi ba ajo.
Na kan.
Kene jo si o fe si ba ajo.
Na kan.
Mi kebu. Ika si nwo ye aga o sana nukwale kwa jiku ne chake gano fe no
anukwale
no mi woye.
That's right.
Woye mi ojoba.
That's right.
Wo fe woye se e kola meni le amamele
That's
ti woye so ojoba ni nu ma fe odo mo ni gan chake ni mo fe mo ke mi sha yin
nakan
e jage ko no nyemi no ke jo nyemi ni e wa
mo boy
mo
boy fe mi na
ba no nyemi no ba ga jo nyemi ni ni sane oh, ntate yo mo fi o mo
over you eradon wa job.
All
right, okay, right. Yeah, na pe gbomo na nyemi no ega me ne lele eko. Anyway, chame nya wa mu ana abache ariwa nu yi.
She ni tete. But quand on va donc nous tout monde chou qui a gan et ya ocean oya foli qui a gan ni jomo e wa bu yo no keke ke anukwale isumoni je ni mtawa kwa mkuni alo tafla majamuku si ye shiba mi agake mi tafla che onyemi Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah shiba mi che many pato here titri onyemi zigli ni egbla wuluemi no ni kote ke ojugba kono onushishi ake yemi sumona onyemi zigli quelle ji lelen personal assistant ke Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah be ekela nukwale ya ke ko kanu wulue no nushujugba ko te po apa ya eche agbene nwa me lawyer se hu amen twa amojo simon amenuchi money le ko ba iba oshka ni iba fe ekun abo shi lele tell ya ke shi ube case ke 2011 ni agbe case na ha judgment esa ni mukubai kuise ake ya court iko eke ni bia no na medumo na meke ameke cho aka agashi amesna meyiye fe ori water agashi sempenyum well like jan kwale ni approve beyond reasonable doubt the court agashi ine Nuumo onyemi impa chairman na bla mi echom ojugba ni bon o save e ko weku ona ke o to wa
and money as well and shika yeah
okay time and money
yeah
naka shika ni nyeke womi kini ge fi no ko Korle na be ba hi ompa fare wa renche no to ko ta ko to wa ti o benke onyemi Nuumo Okai pale fai kon lele ko to wa o futa na ke twa Korle we ke Korle na sa Korle ke ni bi fe ona ke lele gan ye hin ti ka wo nga ni esa ka pele no afetu mono ni opene no ba ni tafla je ko le bu alo se bi ba wo ma min lake aba chume na afe ni bi den da bi Nuumo yana share wonta ga yin anukwale ake ka ba to aga machine na anukwale eji Nuumo kan ji Korle Wulomo wo fa de no he wo mi ni kef oba fata mu na ke akefi no ni sa na akefi ko ni ga yin o fa impa ole isumo sa ni mlenche ekebu je ni mi male je ni mi hwe ni mi yefo si sumo sa ni onye oye spirit ko yo mi ni ke okefi ni apa ke ga ba hi wa renche ona ni impa wo o fa ne shiba mi ke no ko fi ke wa bu ni net wi this is the resounding message I have for you. Akashi gas mo sani ni bon la ko smo ga e wo she ekoni wo hia nkwale ewumi koni woke ya wo hin ndete o fa ne o yo adon o fa dan magbe na ye fa ne imbe kun mi no onye me ni yo abola pia titri o manjo ke mini pokwase jama ke pokwase denche o leoni o shane na me inwia ahun npa wi mo ya gashi taflache amewa merewe amarewe ehoku ipako da ke da ekameye onye fa ne wa denche ke fi oni ba na nyi kwa wa efi akoni efefo koni wonye me nwa na wa moko keje eko akege bia keje wo efe ma fu wa meda onye ni fa ne wa denche ye shiba mi ero
ishe ukaleche kawakpa
yo be idete wa ba da bo sie ko ndiri nyemi e chon yen ke ebu e ko we ku fe pleji ele jajo ni to ebola fe ogla no fe no mi o chon mo fe mo o fe mo ayo si ake bi ne le amale anu kwali ete wo be wo be bi aka o bi ane le ni sani ni na Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah le amadi Nuumo Okai say dabi de na kan yo DNA wo BNA le anko ko wa ngo ko ba hwe kan kwale wa ba yie kan kwale aba yie akan kwale te to bi me kume aba fo e ko bibio na ba te na ba ka to wo being bias wo mali ni wo sumo okay Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah nye da wo sumo esa dabi Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah so na ke wo sumo esa ni show ne no ke look eba ni agbla ni atun lo juba ime ye na me malile be Nuumo Ayitey Cobblah me sumo esa ni ame gbla mi ame chonle ake any share no ko be no ba fi court ke usi bo ke da ne court sani e court ara court ko le no ko ke ya court dia ni aha judgment jesu for me sienyo I ohedi koni onyemi o pale sai da nyemi I want you me together ida ke no tumo eda no tumo da what you me asinyemi me boju onupa what you me call phone ni no chemi ake hey ayachu neke ba what you sane ya e kela achu ona na je be ni ye me so afi komi kwe bene la ko ti adua usisani wonana no ni adama la fesani wonana bia na ba na Korle Wulomo sani anana ekomi fi mo pe esana ke ya hi ekomi fi mo ge na aje da na lo klanti ke chi ke ni bi na kan be ehu ka ke jebu mo no ba fi na ba mo wa o mi e bo sani bo afo ebulu me ko na me tisina me yekoni 10 siri ke 2 siri ke ni na ba le we afi ebulu ani kamula o bia le be ka fa aka abajile boko aka atubulu anusumo boko aka atubulu anusumo mo fe mo na ba so dada ke di bi ne eko me fe mo ni tu enjo le aba aka di ebo yo show ye je be o he di ko nyi mi ba he bu le ba chu ni it's up to him j by force it's up to him we ko ehun na ma me yo shi ami ke ni bi na gele ke chu ama me ti ame ye gen kuri hia ni shuma kabana aba ke police ke soja ke na ashu ni ke ni ebe for on pa de fight on pa ni fight no kwa fi buku so on pa de fight ko ni himbele akaba no ni te tra ni o man yaldi
ya cheme kenyeme nye fenye yi ana walada ye shiba mi inye ni ma in WhatsApp freeze so nye ma posti mi na chole wo donation flyer shi min kpabo fai o fai ne koko no bakwe fen ko no ba na bomode ni owa wo onu week na mi ma ba bie kene ne share picture say no bia me ni ahead Nuumo Okai na atule eduna tafla che atule eduna toye some of you think this is a joke nkaba chombo obituary ele hu ye bie e ma chombo mo fen mo nga fen ba chombo ni wo kan ne fen ni wona and wo ba twa press conference ni zigili fe ke cheme ko meni bi na me yu ni wo kwa ke no ni wo kan the judgment me ke le pan agbelo so we'll do that show this week nyefenye yi ana walada will definitely be here benyeli minda nyefenshi akenye indulge me nye indulge or fam every time no baba nye screen sa no nyumbo ajo nyefen ne ya no ni ehwele nye ochi na emi ewo nye no ejo nye ani jomo anyenye se jomo afi nye no ehwele nye nuchumo ehwele nye bi ehwele nye hoy ewo nye gbomo chomi ai wale I mean no fe no nye kene ne ba taye efe jomo egbele nwen sanfleji ehanye yani no fe no nye ba momi fe ayeni ni efe ojogba ehanye obasa oba pe e bi e kominda mo fe mo she shada thank you mini ya no nye fe man Venus man Christy benye fe nye ojogba oba pe ye bi e ekon oklejema wu e waleke dromo na bye bye